Welcome, Immortals. This is your Demon Lord, Dracosahk. Apologize for being a bit late. Basically, basically there was things I had to do, like eat there real quick and then technical difficulty. But anyway, we're here today. Continue where we left off for Witch of the Holy Night, which, yeah, right now we are at chapter 5 still. It's like we just escaped from like a killer rope, like a puppet. That literally looks like Alco, so yeah. But now we're on part 2 of this, so yep, it's that time again. Also, welcome to Jake. How's it going? Oh, screw you! Why boy me? Boy J6! God. Alright, but yeah, we're on part 2 of this, which now we are coming up face to face with Alice, even though we just beat the puppet, so we're just J6, well, he's got that job thing, so yeah. But yeah, anyway, let's get started. So yeah, we're out of the frying pan and into the fryer pretty much for this now. Section 5. Night of the Witch's Suit. The melody stirred with emotion like nostalgia within them. The boy is gonna be the next. I'm the next best to the boy, plus I'm the streamer. My God. Something was familiar but now lost in this world. They believed beyond a shadow of a doubt that it would all play for eternity. Everyone agreed, opening the Santa to final code. It was a mysterious and sorrow song, merry, yet longing, that heralded the return to the dreams of reality. The night shook. The song sung. Now, their lost paradise was on Earth. I was gonna say, I was actually saying on Earth for a while. Abandoned dreams. Forsaken nights. Gail responded to the cry of a blue cat. The name of the bell was Doodle Doodle, Banquet of the Night. All fables made possible, all marvels made real, by the magecraft of Alice Kanoji, the more magical than magic itself. How selfish of you. Is that something you can really decide on your own, Alco? Alice sat perched on top of the clock tower, like a black bird of an ill omen. She smoothed the ruffles of her skirt as if she were preening. Alice. There was a tension in Alco's voice as she lifted her head. The calm atmosphere from a moment prior had long since been shooed away by Alice's gaze. That girl, I've seen her somewhere before. Sojiro searched through his hazy memory. He could not clearly make out her face from at a distance, but it was sure that he had seen her around town numerous times. Where and when eluded him. However, as tensions in the air kept him from connecting all dots. Well, isn't this a charity offense? I didn't know you cared so much, Alice. I thought you were going to leave tonight to me. Akko raised her guard and took a half a step forward. Unconsciously, from the objective standpoint, it almost looked as though she were protecting the figure beside her. Alice's silence grew heavier, ever heavier. Her eyes, fixed on the ground below her, were devoid of emotion. An indescribable sense of dread and pressure laid claim her over her the plaza. The bell. If he had strained his ears, he could make out the fatal ringing of a bell echoing in the distance. The rippling subway seems unbelievably to be emanating from under the ground. Hey, Aozaki, that girl, she's... Quiet. Yeah. Sojiro steps back, trying to stay out of the way. It was as though he'd been told to go to hell for the crime of asking if the girl was Ako's friend. I'm gonna go so far to say I cared. I simply had a feeling something might be wrong and came to check. It's not as though I had any doubts regarding your ability to handle the job. Much appreciated. It would have been nice if you had thought to come and check just a bit earlier, though. As you can see, things seem to have worked themselves out. It's late, so don't let me keep you, Alice. Since you have no doubts about my ability, right? Their eyes locked on one another. Alice's stare was uncomfortably cold. Ako's was bold, dared Alice to air her complaints. I think I changed my mind. I'm here now, so why don't the two of us go home? That's more your style. Anyway, Ako, you can tell me all about your adventure with the puppet on the way. Ha! What's that supposed to mean? Go on, Alice. Shut yourself in your room and make some more of your worthless birds. Disappointed sigh escaped Alice's delicate lips. It seems that the black-clad girl was no more astonished than angry. Ako, I hate to say this, but seriously? Quietly. Alice questioned her roommate of nearly 2 years. Never. Sorry, it's just a feeling there's something like really lodged in my throat for some reason. You surprised me. Did you not say that we would protect our secret together? Are you still having trouble letting go of the other side, or has compassion taken a hold of you? Not at all. This isn't compassion. I feel like doing it this way. No plan to surprise contact with the enemy. You know that. The same goes for my mood. Besides, who goes out of their way to keep a promise she made forever ago? A little fashion, if you ask me. The previous knives were out now. No quarter was given, no quarter taken. Sadly, their partnership was one of convenience, and that had not reached the level of mutual understanding. Their first friendship was both delicate and unique. When conflict of opinion arose, each would refuse to budge until the other grumbled. Never was concerned with the other's plight, at least not for now. That was how they liked it. You know, I've come to accept stupid outbursts like that from you. Once again, she went outside, even larger than the one before. Why don't we save this argument for later? I can make him disappear on my own. Finally, she struck straight to the point, as if making to move a chess piece. Alice lifted her figure. Is that fork? Huh? Even a simple action seemed mysterious to Social, the same boy who'd been hunted by a classmate. Ako Asaki bore witness to a childhood. Yeah, he's about to be peeled by a giant fork. Just when you don't think that the Naziverse can't come up with any more outlandish, wacky situation things, but then again, FGO comes up with something more wacky than this, so Ako's violence and the doll, though perhaps far beyond the realm of logic, especially since we were derived from reality. As surprised they had been, there was no need to think of them as total mysteries. However, when the thing appeared out of thin air, seemingly unrelated to gesture, I know was for besides mysterious. Also, it's a giant fork. Such an emotion was captivated by the stage performer's magic trick, as the girl's single finger magecraft turned to attack directed at him. A blue light flew from the sky, repel it, and anyway, they never had a trace. Oh crap. Ako immediately regretted a reflexive shot.
どういうこと？約束を曲げただけじゃなく、ルールまで破るつもり？
What are you doing? You're not satisfied with just breaking just a promise, but you must break the rules as well. Already chilled midwinter air, plunged below freezing. Alice looked at calm and collected on the outside, but in reality she was sometimes even more hot-blooded than Ako, especially when it concerned her familiars. Incidentally, destroying one would often result in a week of silent treatment, but miraculously destroying one, Alice would reserve the right to retaliate without fair warning. Oops, I figured I'll do that someday, but I picked the worst time to pick the worst time. Although Ako was so shocked at the death of her own stupidity, she also was the fact she was a little bit relieved. She not intend to make any excuses. She had no regrets. If she had broken the rules, then so had Alice. Ako. How do I put it? If anything, it took a load off her mind. After all, there was no going back. Ako never intended to break her own rules. If there was anything Ako regretted was putting too little power into her shot. I have a problem with this guy dying tonight. So, can we reschedule the execution? What difference does a day make? Taking a pro bono case in defense of suspect S was a socially acceptable thing. Is this personal? So what if this? You know that paying back my debts is pretty important to me. More important than our agreement. Sure, depending on the time and place. I also love how we're like transitioning there. That's actually very good. That's a bit of the serious. Sojiro's human rights had not been yet entered the argument. Girls were busy pouring oil on each other's flames. The girl, clad in black, was the first to move or rare to erupt. See, I understand how you feel, Ako. But I'm going to have to kill him here. I believe that you would let him live. Shall I take it that you mean you're ready to fight him for me? You know damn well ever or not. Ako put back at the resort. She was very familiar with Alice's magecraft. She knew painfully well how many mystics were hidden in Alice's tiny body. Alice's victory was essentially non-existent. And once the first shot had been fired, Alice Kinoji was without mercy. Whether facing a roommate or a friend, a most beloved family member or a stranger. Once Alice began to fight as a witch, she became a heartless, unflappable monster. Akko advanced another half step forward as she stepped to encourage herself. It was too late to back down now. The situation was no longer a trivial quarrel over a witness. The bedrock of their so-called friendship had nothing to do with their individual abilities, but everything to do with being equals in will. That's why, in order to stay true to herself, Akko had no room to compromise her deception.
もちろん、あんたを殺すことになっても、そこのバカは生かしきるわ。
Of course, I'm gonna make sure to say you was, even if it means to kill you. And besides, her magic circus hauled as they kicked into gear. Her body, which had been dormant during the battle of the puppets and knights, preparing to demonstrate her true worth.
それに、どの道最後には殺し合う仲でしょ、私たち。
We were going to end up killing each other in the end anyway. Her courage overpowered any fear she had for her opponent. Turning her body, her magical circus to become like a barrel of a gun, Akko fired a magic bullet, which is essentially a basic magecraft formula. There was no natural interface, no crane of wind, parting of water, or hastening of decay. It was simply the process of converting the imaginary action known as magical energy into something real before releasing it as heat. Thus, Akko's destructive power was equal to her supply of magical energy. The magic bullets she had used against Sojiro were among the most basic single-action magecraft that did not require an incantation. With her presence ability, Akko's main mode attack, her bullet could be fired at 3 levels of power. These were the second level. This required a double action magecraft, casting through the activation of the crest combined with a simplified incantation. However, without blinking, Alice's first shot, Alka mustered all her spirit to fire. Nice shield. Alka tutted in frustration. A swift sneak attack, magecraft that used the simplified incantation would not be enough to break out Scar.
相変わらずお堅いこと。そのから一段と独りよがりになってるんじゃない
？Except for separacy, don't you think you can? That shell is making you complacent. Akko provoked Alice in order to disguise her own lack of composure. Somehow, Alice seemed to be delighted by Akko's bravo. I suppose this is what they call fighting words. I never fought to the death for such a trivial reason. I'm really shocked. Humans are such conceived creatures. Alice giggled, smiling with heartfelt amazement. Alice gestured her left hand towards the earth. Does she have like a giant kitchen? Now we got plates! Antique knives! Sap, sap, sap. Countless who stitched the sap from underneath the cobblestone pavement in the plaza. Okay, now we finally basically say what they actually are now. Suzuki, get back. She grabbed his hands as if she's jumping backwards before he even had a chance to respond. Suddenly, had the wolves of her own, the attendants suddenly appeared from the ground and gave chase. The barrier of spears grew around them. Akko and Sojiro put some distance between themselves and the clock tower. Barrier of spears. They're forks! And plates! Like, that all you got? Just our 30 feet should be between them and Alice. Lethal weapons had crumbled the stone beneath them fell. And short of what Akko had anticipated, they now encircled the clock tower, making the scene look like a burning of a witch at the stake.
普通逆じゃない。ここは私たちを逃がさないよう槍で周りを囲むものでしょ。
It says backwards. You expect the spirits to try to stop us from escaping. The map behind them was safe. If they wanted, they could try to make it a break for the main gate and escape.
いいのアリス。悪いけど逃げられるなら逃げるわよ。私。
Are you sure about this? Sorry, but if you are going to let me escape, I'm not gonna pass the chance up. If she could just make it back to town, it would be Akko's win. All she wanted to do is let Shisho get away for night, so she can get him back to say would be, for the most part, the mission's accomplished. Or so she had thought. Well, even offering glance at her target's will, Alice carefully and lovely pulled out a bottle from her pockets.
緑の。
A green flask.
あ
Wait.
れって確か。やば。
Damn it!
ファイ
Fire! Her shot was effective with ease. Gone was Akko's earlier bravo. It's only natural. Akko had indeed grown as a mage. Or over the last 2 years of studies, her studies had progressed well. She more or less got into the grasp of her roommate's tendencies and abilities. Oops. I'm going to... This has made her conceited enough to believe that under a favorable exercises, she will throw Alice a ding or two in the fight. Alice uncorked the magic bottle. Gentle breeze caressed her neck. Driddle Driddle was fed as a new player stepped onto the stage. But from where it would enter, the sounds of footsteps and a nostalgic parade approach. Oh wow, the rides are even lined up. Ooh. Oh, this is actually very good.
嘘。
No way. Unfortunately, it was true. This is a miracle that Akko Aosaki, a Princess Mage, had never witnessed. Are we attracting a lot of attention here? Now that I think of it. The dead came to life. The inanimate awakened. The woods were enveloped by the mist. Fire-breathing lizards lurked in the swamps. Puppets made a merry at the midnight. Alice Kenochi's slender fingers had transfigured the entirety of the park, as if gently stroking the back of the elderly cat.
いいわ。
Very well.
ごっこ遊びをしましょう。
Let's play pretend. Alco. Okay, now we're actually get to enjoy the carnival here. For one night, the wasteland dash of hopes and dreams was restored to its former glory. It was an immoral monster ready to devour reality. A dark fairy tale that, at once unleashed, would never let its prey escape. Run if you dare.
どこまで行けるかわからないけど。
I don't believe you'll get far, but
このルールを超えることができたのならあなたの勝ちにしてあげる。
I believe you'll get far, but if you can survive the night, I'll succeed this round to you. Her declaration marked the start of the desperate battle. Witch in Black laughed at her friend, her musical mirth filled with affection, sadness, and innocent delight. Faded Glory returns to Critsy Land. The neon glow of it, valuable lights illuminate the night. Speakers filled the air with the sound of fit until music. Merry-go-rounds and small and large whirled around and around. All in all, made for a mind-bending spectacle. It was certainly possible to power the facilities by transmuting magical energy into electricity via alchemy. That said, simply supplying the park with electricity would not have brought back to life that which was broken. The young woman did not try mixing chemicals into a compound, but by melting down the defined promise into a witch's brew.
まずいわね。アリスのプロイは何個か見てきたけど、今回のは桁が違う。
This is bad, seeing her poise. This is something completely new.
セット。
Set. Connecting. Shifting your anxiety, Alco fired up the crest on her right arm. If magical circuits were a mage's engine, then her crest was software that assisted their magecraft. For the fledgling mage, Alco, this was her trump card. All she had to do was supply magical energy to the crest base formula. It may not have been the strongest magecraft, but it was hers. Proof that she was the successor of the Aosaki lineage.
講師2層。直流数も。
Execute double layer. Direct current to crest. The pattern of the crest shifted and executed the formula, which then connected to her magical circuits. The process resembled trains changing rails. The puzzle involving dozens of circuits. She constructed it as shifty as possible without sacrificing the quality of its construction. This in magecraft, cast without an incantation would not be enough to reach Alice Kenoshi. Akko had engaged the strength of Alice's defenses with her initial shots. She would dial up the power 5 times the next time, driving 20 tons of force into her target. Alice had the protection of a thick hanging of fog, a dense barrier around her. However, this attack would be more than enough to pierce through the both. If Akko struck home, at best it would cave in Alice's chest and end the fight. At worst, it would at least knock Alice down from her position atop the tower.
そろそろいいかな。
Hey, I have a question. As of always, the one guy who spoiled the devil intention pulling out Akko from her code. But Sunshine had been looking back and forth between Akko and Alice in confusion.
それでどういう話になった？
What's going on now? Oh man, dude, don't spoil the mood. He said like he might ask the directions to the train station. Even Akko's like, what the heck is this idiot doing? Yeah. Normally she would have lashed out and screaming in response, but this is entirely serious tone. Shocked her more than angered her.
信じられない。慣れてきた。
Unbelievable. Is this my life now? Akko swallowed back inside her chair, focused on activating the crest.
交渉は決裂。ちょっと怒らせすぎた。
Negotiations have broken down. I pissed her off a bit too much.
あ
From
の
her,
子から見れば、まあいい機会だし、遊園地ごと私を亡き者にしようって腹ね。
from her perspective, this is a good chance of coming off, along with the entire theme park, I guess. Sancho tilted his head as the beginning for a simpler explanation.
私、割とあの子に恨まれてるから。捕まったが最後、どんな風に殺されるか想像すらできないわ。
She really's got it in for me. I can't imagine what kind of death she has in store if she catches me.
要するに、あんたも私もあの子をどうにかしないと生きて帰れないってことよ。
What I'm saying is neither you or me are getting out of this alive unless we do something about her.
そんなとばっちりだ。
So you're saying I got dragged into your quarrel?
まあ、そういうことになるかもね。
Pretty much. As Sancho protested in a tone wholly inappropriate to the situation, Akko let another blast rip from her right arm. She was not aiming at Sancho though. A little earlier today, Akko had been happy to do exactly that, but now her attention was focused on the girl in black atop of the clock tower. She could hardly grasp the situation amidst her astonishment. She fired the strongest, fastest magical bullet she had in her ability to conjure, and Alice blocked it. That was to be expected when Alice set her mind, defending herself, Such an attack was child's play. What just happened? Something she'd never seen before have leaped into Alice's defense. A team of horses, plague of a locust. No, those things exist in this world, unlike what Alco just witnessed. Normal creatures can not form like spontaneous cloud of fog, and then disperse like quickly into the night sky. Oh my god, what the hell? What? Oh, I guess big zoo fire. Impossible things moved in impossible ways. Alice was not even surprised. So supplying them with any power source. Those things never needed power in the first place. Those broken and discarded things did not follow the rules of mankind. It was an invasion of fairy tales. Oh, cool! A train! A horse train? Compared to the top down looks merciful. Autonomous puppets were products of magecraft, but even they behave as puppets should. Yeah, especially since this is like, we got a horse that's sticking out of a terrain here. These are newly evident things, however. They were nothing of the sorts. Empty vessels came living creatures. Dummies wrapped into malformed beings. There was a fog of dust with magical energy. It eventually spread out to all corners of the park. Bringing with it a monstrous walking party that easily numbered over the 1,000. Spurred by the soldering sensation of burning down her spine, Alco fired a barrage of single-action magical bullets. Her impulsive attack shattered furiously. The knights of the merry-go-round soared into the sky. Green fire-breathing lizards fly. Bakeries opened the doors once again, and human-sized loaves of fresh bread marched from their ovens were tuned the newly baked soldiers. Oh, good God. We're gonna get killed by bread? Azaki, look behind you. Akko and Sunshine were completely surrounded. Ferris wheel was creaked as it gently turned. A rickety train car raced about the roller coaster tracks with Chrissy tears streaming down its face abroad. It was a grossly twisted fantasy. The girl in black reunited over this insanely fueled park. Oh, now we're screwed. Akko was translucently seeing them floating around her. Then, she realized what was happening. Oh, I know what this is. Asa once told her about insiders' familiars. Among them were three particular notoriety, one which she called being capable of something similar to this, and it was called Polykissa Flat Shark. Probably should have just let it at just play because that seriously said everything. Seriously, Saki, behind you. Struck by Alko's bullets, the creature exploded into splinters. It was clear Alko's shots were becoming more powerful, but it was also the case that these beings were less robust than your average automaton. Suzuki, this way. Akko turned away from the clock tower and grabbed his hand and began to run. Wait, Aosaki. Sorry. No time. We're running. Running to where? It doesn't matter. Anywhere. She shouted as she tried to restrain herself as the family cleared the path. Akko smashing with bullets flew like a scream, blowing away the creatures that stood in their way. Her bar simply gathered around, and she made a hole in them for them to escape through. The magic bolts exploded like blue fireworks. Akko and Sotra ran down a bumpy brick road. Their bond forged with the heat of the battle went far beyond mutual convenience. They headed for the park's exit at full speed without exchanging a word or look. Awareness is only extended as far as the park's border, so they would be safe as long as they made it outside. Excuse me. But oh my god, those are breads. Oh god. Speaking of pure numbers, the difference in strength was 2 versus an army. Yeah, an army of French bread. Or rare, 1 versus an army. Sutra was hardly useful in this situation. And the main manpower was really an issue here, since they were all facing puppets. Okay, these were some giant pincers back there. Akko shouted as she blasted away the monsters that stood in their path. There was no time to stop or for breath, or even look back. Yeah, barely. Sojo pressed her in his voice. 2 and naturally becomes shrill. 5 times minutes earlier, they had broken out of the siege of the boss of Spice and Fat. And it seems as the restless awakening of a different case by case with larger creatures taking additional time. We're lucky they're not the morning type. Akko joked as he mowed down the small fry that popped up. But then, without warning, something outrageous, he said his way down from above. Okay, what's more outrageous than basically a horseman head attached to a locomotive? I guess whatever the hell this thing. It was the cause of a 60-foot lobster adoring the roof of a seafood restaurant. Oh my. Wait. This was like a guillotine. As Akko and Sojiro cut across the front of the restaurant, the Red King pressed a tremendous speed, king on splitting them each in 2. Suzuki, hard about it. This way's no good. The gate was just on our side of the restaurant, but they had to take the long way around in order to lose the giant monster snapping at their heels. Leading along their detour had a horde of monsters. Too many to count. Yeah, just barely. Sojo called out a response. God, just how narrowly he had to avoid his head being severed clean from his body. In front of us, one attack of those. Are you freshly baked? Looks like it. In other words, they're canned for. Although, freshly baked, but something tells me their ingredients are probably moldy as hell. Because who knows how long they've been saying, how many years they've been saying that waiting to be baked. Akko halted her sprint to set her press into full operation. Range 7, 6, 5 yards. And this is a snap. I'll take him down. Sliding along the brick path, she brandished her right arm and loosened a shower of magical bullets. Snap was a single action spell that favored the rate of fire over power, and it mowed down the monsters with a satisfying props. Aosaki, more over there. Roger that. Blue explosives moved along the lamplit promenade. It was Akko's curtain of fire that fanned out like the beautiful streamlined fireworks show. The toy breadman turned it to charcoal. We can do this. The guy's overpowered in numbers, but at this rate, we'll be able to get out of here. Suzuki, how's the look over there? Looks clear to me. We should be able to approach the exit from the east. With a magical barrage that would leave the average spellcaster blue in the face, the novice mage broke through the siege. Meanwhile, a single bird keenly watched everything they unfolded. Chirp, cheep, cheep, chirp. The moment the blue bird descends onto its master's field of vision, it made a high-pitched call. The girl listened expressively to the report.
構わないわ。予想通りよ。
No matter, everything goes going as expected. Also, why is there extra space in there?
撃つこと、壊すことしか脳がなくても、青子の魔力の使い方は波じゃないから。
Even if she only knows how to...
中道の使い魔じゃ、まだ相手にはならないでしょう。
Even if she only knows how to shoot and destroy, the way Alko uses magical energy is extraordinary. Her hastily formed familiars are no match for her. The robin flapped its wings as it tweeted in response. Perhaps it was criticizing Alice for complimenting Alko, or perhaps it was jealous of Alko being complimented by Alice. Alice could barely make sense of his chirping rant. Ako Alasaki was a novice mage. Until just a few years ago, she was someone who grew up with no background in magecraft compared to Alice, who was raised as a witch from birth. Ako possessed far less talent and experience. Winning was an impossibility for Ako. In a contest of skills in magecraft 10 out of 10, Alice would be declared the victor. However, a battle to the death was a different story. Alice Kenoshi was not a mage suited for battle. Ako Alasaki on her was built for it. The contest that pitted magical energy against magical energy. Even Alice would concede that Ako had the upper hand. Ako's manipulation for magical energy was extraordinary. The scale for magical circuits was smaller than that of Alice's, but their rotational speed, durability, and quantity of magical energy produced, not to mention the efficiency, were unworldly. It was Ako's Alasaki's hallmark, although she had many failings when she handling the sophisticated formula. It was in just 2 years of practice, Ako has surpassed Alice's simple formula that simply required an energy input. She also had a genius level instincts and adaptivity. Although Ako was not particularly proficient in executing magecraft, she was terrifyingly fast. She had been born outside the Alasaki clan. She would have doubtless risen to fame as a competitive sharpshooter.
でも、
What a pity.
Za-
In a straight shootout, Alice didn't stand a chance. Alice Kenoji had never bothered to learn the primitive magecraft, like a magic bullets in the first place. She was the classic puppeteer. Her familiars would carry out all the particulars of battle as her arms and legs.
制限時間には気づいているわよね、青子。
Clock's ticking, Ako.
魔力はいくらでも貸してあげるけど、あなたの魔弾はあと半時で値崩れするわ。
I'm happy to lend you all the magic energy you like, but after an hour, those bullets will be worthless. Tripping as if in agreement, the robin took flight. It had been merely 10 minutes since Alice made the amusement park into her domain. To what would the green fog give birth next? Ako and Sojiro still could see some running about, would soon come to understand the gravity of their situation.
しずきくん、正門ってこっち？
Suzuki, is this the way out?
ああ、その店を曲がれば出口だ。
Yeah, the exit's just around the store. Running non-stop at full speed and met the limits. Their breaths ragged, the two flew around the corner. Amusement park, though it was still an infamous Christie land. It would take a high school student 20 minutes to sprint the entire circumference of the park. And although they were now immediately familiar with the parks geographically, now we have to deal with the puppet carriage. his mouth there, was changing beyond recognition. Transformation not only limits park's restless either.
青崎
Saki?
何を
What? I had to ask, but is it just me or is it,
この遊園地広くなってないか
is it just me or is the parking bigger? It was. The problem was as mundane as mistaking the location exists, or getting lost in terrain. Now the park was warping and twisting upon itself. Even now the structure was expanding like growing. That of the side of a living creature. Soon the pair noticed that the mob encircling them had grown either stronger, entrusting her back to Sojo. Akko summoned all her effort to just keep it from mining. No one could have the thought twice that had been just Sojo cowering in shock and terror. But Akko doing the same. She bore responsibility for causing and then dragging him into this mess. She could not afford to succumb to panic.
大丈夫。落ち着け私。
Put yourself to area, Akko.
遊園地の果てはある。遠いけど、鉄柵はちゃんと見える。
Park has to end somewhere. It may be far, but the fence is right there.
フラットスナークだって制限なしってわけじゃない。外に逃げるって選択は正しいはず。
Even flat Snark has its limits. Getting to the exit is the right choice, I think.
現状、外までは目算で1キロぐらいだけど。
But from here, it looks like a better part of a mile away. Up to now, they had been too concerned with simply running. Their breathing had become labored. If they had to run another mile without rest, they'd end up collapsing along the way.
青崎体大丈夫か
Asaki, how are you holding up physically, I mean?
え
What? The whispers from her behind pulled Aoko back to reality.
大丈夫だけど、
Fine,
ちょっと一息入れたいわね。
but I need to catch my breath.
賛成ここから休みなしで外周まで走るのはやめた方がいい
Good idea. We'll never make it outside if we don't rest.
驚いた。しずきくんも外まで走ろう派とは。
I know. You know, I never would have thought you would be okay with making a run for it. After saying that she let slip a giggle. From the deliberate panic, her comrade and ours have been analyzing the situation from forming an escape plan.
ちょっとだけ建物に逃げ込むのは
Why don't we hold up at one of those buildings for,
気は進まないけど、それしかないわね。
don't like it, but that's our best option right now. Breadman had them completely surrounded. Perhaps it might have been a problem for the average person, but Akko was breaking through their formation to get to the building would be a clutch. The issue was
問題は
which
ど
store
んな
to pick.
店を選ぶかってこ
She considered the characteristics of Transport Park. What would propose danger? What if was safe? Most of the factor was not even a straight for the complexity of the building. Keep it simple,
と
stupid.
選ぶね。しずきくん、
Suzuki, this way. After routing the monsters, Akko hopped behind the counter, soon followed by Shoujo.
カウンターに隠れてて。
Get behind the counter. Like she was in a Western shootout. Akko squared off against the monsters and the counter as a cover.
ビンゴ、ここならスナーク化しないんだ。
Bingo, nothing in here can get snarkified. After assessing the current state of the enemy, Akko sat herself under the counter.
あいつらは
What are they doing?
店の周りで地団打踏んでるわ。理由があってね。
They're,
あいつらはここには入ってこられないのよ。
they're stamping their feet in frustration because they're angry they can't get in. Akko gave a paroxysmal grin and took a breath. She heaved heavily at the sigh of relief and fatigue.
とりあえずコーヒーブレイクね。ここは遊園地の中でも遊びのない場所だから、あいつらにとっては鬼門なのよ。
We'll take 5 here. This restaurant is the blindest place in the park, which makes it their Achilles heel.
レジスターも調理器具も最近のものだし、擬人化されたマスコットもないし、スナーク化するにはちょい文明犬すぎるってこと。
The registers and utensils are all modern, and there is no mascot characters. It's just a bit too civilized for a Snark to mess with.
スナーク
Snark?
あいつらの名前よ。 つけたのは私じゃなくてアリスなのかしらね。あの子の性格的にちょっと想像できないけど、まあとにかくそういう名前。
That's their name, although Alice was the one that came up with it, I think. It doesn't really sound like her, but whatever. That's what they're called. Perhaps nowadays, knowing that they were safe, Sojo seemed to enthralled with her explanation. Akko couldn't help but chuckle as Sojo nodded sagely. It was certain that he had no idea what she was talking about. Normally this would have irritated her, but this time she was grateful that the warmth of his strange sobriety.
それはともかく調子良さそうだな、青崎。
It's good to you seem better, Alasaki. Mistaking her smile for composure, Sojo broke into a smile himself. That's another only in the change the misunderstandings, but there was no need to readjust it.
あれ、あなたから見てもわかる？私の魔弾の威力が上がっているの。
Oh, you can tell? Yeah, my magical bullets are getting more powerful.
そりゃミラーハウスで散々追いかけ回されたからな。あの時と同じ動作なのに物騒さが増していれば嫌でもわかる。
Well, you did chase me all around that house of mirrors while firing those things at me, so I guess I've become really familiar with them, for the better or worse.
でもいいのか？確か数に限りがあるとか言ってただろう。もう随分撃っちまったけど20、30じゃ効かないぞ。
Are you sure you're okay, though? I remember you mentioning that you had a limited number of shots, but you fired at least 20 or 30 so far, right?
あんた、時々あれよね。
No, every now and then you... Your opinion of him improved. Just a little bit.
なんでもない。
Never mind. My
私の魔弾の威力が上がっているのは単純に魔力の濃度の問題。さっきから霧がかかってるでしょ。あれ、全部魔力なのよ。弾を撃つための燃料と思って。
Never mind. My bullets decrease the magical power as simple matter as density of their magical energy. You've seen the fog around the park a bit ago, right? It's just magical energy. Take it as fuel for my bullets. Magical energy was divided into two broad categories. First was the OD, produced inside the mage's body. Second was mana, which filled the atmosphere. At the moment, the amusement park had turned into a fairy tale land, overflowing with mana, although it meant nothing to the average person. To the mage, it was a paradise where spells could be cast as much as one pleased.
じゃあ
So
残り魔力とやらは気にしなくていいのか。
that means you don't have to worry about how much magic whatever you have left in.
注意すべきは怪我と体力だけ。
All we need to worry about are the injuries and stamina.
まあ、個人的な責任においてはその限りね。
Oh, as far as for our own lives are concerned, yeah. Sojo breathed sigh of relief. From Sojo's perspective, more so than monsters had she mowed down, Akko was the biggest bully in the playground. He had been concerned about what would happen should her magic energy be exhausted, but lucky for him, she was far from surrendering her crown.
頼りにしてくれるのは嬉しいけど、ぬか喜びよ。
It's nice you trust me and all, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
あんな雑魚たち、ただ動いているだけのガラクタなんだから。
Those minions out there are just walking garbage.
スナーク本体は当然として、アリスが他の童話の怪物を出してきたら、私じゃどうにもならない。
If Alice summons any other fairy tale monsters, let alone the actual Snark making an appearance, there's nothing I'll be able to do.
他の童話の怪物。遊園地をこんな風に変えたやつ以外にまだいるのか？
There are fairy tale monsters, you mean? There are others apart from that thing that changed the park.
そう。プロイキッシャーって名付けられた、私たちでさえ目を背けたくなる反則。
Yes, they're called polykicksaws, abbreviations that even we mages can't stand to look at.
不可能な夢物語をも再現する時代に取り残されたデタラメよ。
They're nonsense lost of time. Used to revive impossible fantasies. Sojo's expression seems to be calling her out on her hypocrisy.
あのね、私たちはちゃんと現代に寄り添った魔術師よ。
Let's just have fun ourselves, you know.
できないこともあるし、当たり前のことだけど、近代兵器にはかなわない。20世紀、まあ、いろんな戦争の後押しで 兵器の進化は私たちを超えちゃったから。
Obviously, there's things we can't do, and we're no match for modern weapons. The 20th century will a bunch of wars and have helped the weapons technology catch up to us.
けどあの子のは違う。どんなに人間の技術が進歩しようと関係ないって怪物なの。
Well, but that girl is a different beast altogether. Mankind's evolution can't hold a flame to her power.
例えばあのブレッドマンいるでしょ。
Those breadmen, for instance.
あいつには自動拳銃とか効かないわよ。多分意味が分かっていないから。
Something like a machine gun would have no effect on them, probably because guns make no sense to them. Akko gestured outside, past the counter.
アリスの使い魔は全てが空想によってこねられた神秘なの。
How familiar are the mystics kneeled from fantasies?
前提からしてありえないことだから、通常の物理法則と折り合いが悪い。
They're all
空
possible.
想と現実は両立しないっていうごく当たり前の理由でね。
They're all impossible in the first place, so they don't play nice with the laws of physics. So that should come as a surprise, since fantasy and reality can't exist together.
なるほど。ブレッドマンってのはあの動く焼きたてパンのことなんだな。
You see, so they're literally walking loaves of bread. Sotro seemed to have ignored the majority of Akko's explanation and only reacted to part that caused curiosity.
話を戻すけど、
To get back on topic,
あいつらと近代兵器の相性は最悪。ロケット弾でも効果はないわ。意思の疎通、秩序の共有ができてないから。
modern arms don't stand a chance to get to those things. Even rockets would be useless. They are part of the same order or shared constants as us. So even a nuke probably would be absolutely utterly useless.
プロイキッシャーにとって
To play,
彼らの世界には存在しないもの、意味がわからないものは触れることなく無産する。
to poly rickshaws, to the fairy tale monsters, anything that doesn't exist in their world, anything they don't understand, distinguishes before it can even touch them.
彼らに通じるのは同じ神秘を帯びた魔力だけっていうデタラメぶりよ。もう完全に概念空間っていうか概念宇宙っていうか。
Oh, something equally nonsense can touch them, like magical energy infused with the same level of mystics. They exist wholly on their own conceptual space or cosmos. In the
要
short,
するにあいつらは伝承ボードっていう特別なルールを持っていて、単純に強い力、強い魔術じゃ効果は薄いの。元になった童話にちなんだ欠点をつかないと倒せない。
in short, they exist according to a specific law known as folklore defense, meaning that neither pure force nor strong magecraft have much effect. They can't be taken down without exploiting the weakness found in their original stories.
ギリシャ神話のアキレスあたり分かりやすい例えなんだけど、知ってる？
If you're familiar with the Greek myth of Achilles, it's a good straightforward example. Pretty much, and everyone here, is the fact that some of us have actually summoned Achilles. You know, some of us Go players at least. Sotro shook his head.
そう。無事帰れたら飛び丸あたりに教えてもらって。定番だけどいい話よ、あれ。
Of course you aren't. If we get out of this alive, you have Tabaru to tell you about it. It's cliche, but it's a good story. Sojiro was feeling pretty lost, but he did his best to grasp the situation. He thought that poly kickshaws were scary enough to chase Akko and the puppet from before out of the house barefoot. Okay, seeing this train thing is just too funny. Certainly the scene before him was stuff of nightmares. But Sojiro had a different way of thinking.
やっぱり青崎の方が怖くないか。
I think you're more scared than me, Aozaki.
あんた死ぬの？
Do you want to die? Sojiro waited to protest, silently pointing out that she had made this case for him.
あのね、今
Oh, she's about ready to
おまけに過ぎない。
kill him. Listen to me. Things surrounding us right now, little more than folder.
アリスにとってあのブレッドマンもロブスターもソーセージ屋のミンチマシーンも全部が全部私が打ってる魔弾より価値がない。
As far as I was concerned, the breadman, the lobster, the meat mincer, and the sausage place there all worth even less than my magical bullets are to me.
いい？あの動くマスコットたちはね、ただのおまけなの。
Got
アリス
the
が解放した童話の怪物の一呼吸みたいなものなのよ。
got the moving mascots and all the rest of are a sideshow. They're nothing more than a breath to the monsters she unleashed.
呼吸ってこれが？
Those thongs are just a breath.
私だって考えたくないよ。
Yeah, crazy, I know.
でもそれが現状。たった一体の童話の怪物だけで私たちは手一杯。
Those songs. I think that was supposed to be those things. I had no idea we're fighting like a bunch of women's underwear out here. But that's the moment we're doing right now. Just one of those fairy tale monsters enough to keep us busy.
そういうわけだから、アリスがあと一体でも追加したら諦めて。
So if I was to decide to add a number, we might as well give up.
追加ってこれに制限はないのか？
A number? Isn't there some sort of limit?
あ
She
の子に出
decides
し惜しみしなければ、まだ何体かストックはあるでしょうけど。
if she decides not to be
成
stingy,
立する
she
条
has
件も
a
あるわね。
she has a few more up her sleeve. But though, well, there are conditions to bring them out.
例えば、川がないと目を覚まさない怪物もいる。この遊園地、噴水はあるけど川はないでしょ。元になった童話縛りなの。あの子の使い魔は。
Like one monster that won't wake up if there's no river nearby. The park has foundations, sure, but no river, right? The familiars are bound by their underlying stories. Yeah, okay, yeah. So I guess this was put in place so that way she doesn't come as completely busted.
童話ってかけそばとか？
By fairy tale, you mean the one about the bowl of soba noodles?
ここに川がないのは不幸中の幸いね。もしあったら、もっと直接制圧に向いたやつが出てきてた。
Let me tell you, it's small mercy there's no river here, otherwise something way bigger than as squishy as would have appeared by now. Oh god. Well, in that case, we probably have to prevent Alice from visiting Lafayette. So in fact, we have the wall badge down here. Akko continued to completely ignoring Sojo.
話の続きだけど、
Anyway, as I was saying,
アリスの魔術の基本はマザーグース。って知らないか。イギリスの歌で遊び心に富んだメルヘンチックな内容よ。
oh, Mother Goose. Heard that. I really need to read into it. Probably get to know nursery a bit more. The foundation of our spacecraft is Mother Goose. But you wouldn't know that ever. Mother Goose was the author of a whimsical English nursery rhymes.
ただ、そっち系のプロイキッシャーは怖くないの。
To be honest, this type of poly kickshot isn't that scary.
みんなそれなりになんとか魔術にも落とし込める範囲だから。
Taking him down with some form of magecraft is solely possible.
聞きたくないんだけど、そっち系じゃないのは？
I'm afraid to ask, but what about the scary kind then?
マザーグースを下地にしたとある創作童話系。
They're followed by another fairy tale, also inspired by Mother Goose.
あの子のお母さんが好きでね。こっち系のはどいつもこいつも尋常じゃない。私たちから見ても勘弁してって言いたくなるわ。
Alice's mother was particularly fond of it, and every single one is bizarre. No mage wants to go up against one of those things.
で、この遊園地を生き返らせたのはこっち系よ。
As it happens, that's exactly what brought the park to life.
多分フラットスナークってやつだと思う。私も聞き流していたから詳しくはわからないけど。
I'm pretty sure it's the one she calls Flat Snark. Although I wasn't particularly paying attention, I'm just a little hazy on the details. Sancho swallowed the scuffer making its way up his throat. He really wanted her to explain things a little less vaguely, but something she just had said necessitated further in the investigation.
待て青崎。あの子の話を聞き流したって。
Wait a second, Alasaki. You mean you tell me you weren't paying attention?
いや、説明してもらったのは随分と前だし、あの頃はアリスの話あんまり信じられなかったのよね。
Well, you know, it was a little while back she explained it to me, and I really didn't believe anything they had to say about him then.
私が素人だと思って大げさに自分の魔術を語ってくれてるな、舐められてるなとか。
Thought that maybe she was taking up her own manuscript to a newbie, or that she wasn't taking me seriously. If anybody hadn't taken the lesson seriously as Akko, she would learn the lesson firsthand soon enough. Then, when she experienced just how real us as monsters were, she also discovered how heretical the Meister witches really truly are, and the world of magecraft.
その聞き流した内容は
Can you remember anything else about him?
何でも強力な結界を張るプロイだって。
From what I understand, it's a poly that puts up a bound in the field.
アリスが受け継いだプロイは山ほどあるけど、その中でもえりすぐりの一つよ。
I also inherited a lot of polys, but this is one of her
捨
finest.
てられたもの、忘れられたものを童話的に蘇らせるやつで、今まで誰も破ったことがないとか。
It takes discarded and forgotten things and resurrects them, and like what happens in fairy tales. Supposedly no one's ever defeated it.
それでついたあだ名が触れられぬもの。
Excuse me. Oh, and this nickname is untouchable.
フラットスナークじゃないのか
So it's not a flat snark or whatever it was.
それもあだ名。とにかく正体がわからないやつばっかりなんで、一つの個体に複数の名前が付けられるの。
It's just a nickname too, since nobody knows what its real form is. It's picked up a few names along the way.
フラットスナークはその中でも正体不明さはトップランクのデタラメぶりよ。
None of them is flat snark and ranks high among other nonsensical in terms of how little is known about it.
あなた、ルイス・キャロルのスナーク狩りって本知ってる？
I read the book The Hunting of the Snark by Lewis Carroll. Ooh, Lewis Carroll. Oh, no.
そもそもルイス・キャロルというの
Who is Lewis Carroll?
そっからか。ドジスン教授はそうね、特殊性癖を持った妄想紳士ってとこ？まあこっちは別にどうでもいいか。人によっては時間の無駄だろうし。
Okay, then let's start from again. Professor Doggerson was, he was a original gentleman in particular this position. Not that matters right now. I'll waste the time to explain it to some people.
今重要なのは彼が残した著作の方。
What is the importance of the work he left behind?
スナーク狩りはね、スナークって呼ばれる正体不明の怪物を捕まえようと奔走する冒険家たちの話なの。
The Hunting of the Snark is a book about a band of adventurers who tried to capture an unidentified monster known as the Snark. I really need to read some fairy tales after this.
皮肉ばっちり、死に滅裂、意味不明、結末不在の本当に困った本で、一行は島で苦しみつつ、最終的にはスナークを見つけるものの、見つけたベイカーは唐突に姿を消して終わってしまう。
It's very Carol, statistical, nonsensical, cryptic. It doesn't really have an ending either, though. It partly does ultimately find the Snark on the island after much hardship. It ends with the protagonist who found it, the baker suddenly disappearing.
よくわからないもの探しに奔走する人間の風刺なんだけど、この遊園地において誰がベイカーで何がスナークかは言うまでもないでしょ。
Satire who run about busy trying to find something you don't understand, but when it comes to the park here, it's pretty clear who the baker is and who the Snark is, right? Akko elected not to share this, but Five Snark had other popular names as well. The enigmatic island, the five-dimensional plane. Mistakes were not given to it by Alice, but rather by mages whom the Meisters defeated. Mathematics, Snark is a term used on a graph theory to refer to contradictory and impossible planar graphs. A plane is proven to be unable to exist in this world, was given a name, apt for an ill-fated existence of paradoxical nature. Fairy tale monsters, described in its name, was said to hold no form discoverable by man. Akko declined to mention something else. Flash Snark was a fairy tale monster that could grow. It would hide somewhere in the amusement park, continuously exhausting magical energy until the park was completely transformed into Fantasyland.
脅かしてもしょうがないし。
I said, like to say, points carrying him.
何か言ったか？
Do you say something, Ozaki?
別に簡単に言って童話世界の再生がフラットスナークの力なの。
Nope, I was thinking. Flat Snark's power is its ability to bring fairy tale worlds to life.
この遊園地との相性は抜群でしょうね。何しろもともとが童話を元にした遊び場だから。
When you think about it, the park makes for a perfect backdrop. I mean, it was originally a playground based on fairy tales anyway. Had been a business district, for example, Flat Snark would have been posed as less of a threat. And most power would be limited to projecting the shadow of a dinosaur onto a building's window planes.
あ、だからここは安全だって。
Oh, that's why I say. Supposed to realize something was wrong when he noticed Kristen's liquid dripping onto his back. Oh, shit. Oh no. Looked up at the ceiling. Their eyes met before he had a chance to think. Sojiro hopped up from the floor.
青崎外だ。
Awasaki, get out of here now. Take the initiative, jumped out from behind the car.
バカ、何して。
Are you mad? What do you think you're busy trying to stop her from getting an act of suicide? She came to her feet. Immediately she had noticed something being brought to life. Oh Lord. What the? Oh crap! Okay. Oh my god, that was close. The Garusha mouth clamped shut. With no mascot to speak of, the burger joint itself began to transform into one giant monster.
もう、なんで天井にピエロの絵なんて描いてんのよ、あの店。
Who the hell paints a giant clown on the ceiling?
普通もっと違うところに労力割かない？そんなにピエロが好きなら入り口にでも飾っとけ。
Shouldn't they have flex their creative muscle somewhere else? If they liked clowns that much, why did they put it on at the entrance? Akko aired her grievances as she ran. There was no safe haven left. Movements by movements, the last remnants of civilization were being roared away by fairy tales. Oh god, now even the roller coasters are going like a dragon. The amusement park had reached the final stage of snarkification. It was not just the mascot characters that had been granted life. Like the burger joint, its abilities had begun to transform. The roller coaster made its way to the park, withered and twisted like a Chinese dragon. Akko and Socho snared, dumbfounded that the Ferris wheel, which had been grown over 250 feet in height. Hordes of breadmen closed in then, as if to offer their tickets. I'm telling you, the line is under control. Mobs of trinkets actually kicksaws rapids apart. Whatever a hole was punched of it was instantly filled. It was a battle of attrition with no insight, but there was a matter of course, where there were a few fairy tales about the limited resources. This is hopeless, they just keep coming. Look for the Snark's real form. Fairy Tale Monster always has a festival forest fire. If we could just destroy that, we should be able to get out of here. A body? What kind of body? Alright. I already told you, Fairy Tale Monsters can't assist reality. Anything weird or impossible never seen before. It's gotta be it. Something weird and impossible. I need an example! Do I have to spell it out for you?
ぶゴーカートとか。
Little Papa's flying go-karts. Aka paused her frying memo. After saying this out, she realized just how deep their grave was dug. Mr. Parker was a treasure trove of fairy tale innocent creatures all they gave a day. Yeah, no shit. Who could say what was impossible amidst the newly transformed kickshots running around?
そっか。
Hey, Meta, how goes it?
なんて一つもないんだ。
You just came into like a interesting fairy tale land of. Damn, everything around here is weird.
この中に。
Oh, and also breadmen. So it's hiding in plain sight. Hoping that she was wrong, Akko bit her vomit. Flat Snark was the type of boy that deployed bound the fields. Seeing that was commanding so many familiars, it would be unnatural for his main body to have little, even no offenses. Furthermore, if it was modeled from a story about being untouchable and undefinable, then it would be logical to assume that it would collapse in on itself shortly after being discovered. Which means,
言えば見つければ私たちの勝ち。
if we find it, we win. With something so fragile hiding among minions.
木の葉を隠すなら森の中って言うけど。
They do say that the best place to hide a leaf is in the woods. Oh man, we destroyed the train! I kinda like that horse train. That was closer to the truth than Akko realized. As long as there was a slightest possibility of it being hit by one Akko's stray bullets, it would not dare to appear in front of them. Its true form would be Akko in the park from somewhere safe.
でもどこかに見えているはず。
I'm sure we've seen it already.
スナークは本の主題だもの。常にページのどこかにいないと
It's
主
the
人公の資格がない。
it's the subject of a book named after it, and if it's not standing out on every page, it has no right to be the title character. But where? Taking the most basic terms, the Ferris wheel was very safe as well as the symbol of the park itself, perhaps.
あの子を捕まえるのは
What if we just try to catch that girl instead? Alright, something wide as someone suggested. While Akko had been trying to come up with a plan to overcome the stalemate, it seems Sojiro had been racking his brain as well. His proposal was a simple one. If they could... Yeah, she does kind of seem like it now I think of it. Maybe it was like a base model of Rin, and then it's like, they look, the Natsu looked as like saying, maybe I should change up her design a bit. Just to probably experiment, maybe that's how he accidentally maybe created Rin that way. Who knows? If they could find... Since this was originally takes place... was actually written by Natsu before Stay Night, though. It even got to the point where he tried to submit it to like a contest, and he had trouble getting it under 300 pages. If they could not find the Snark, then they just need to take out the Master Alice. Alice had not moved over the clock to... Oh, I know the snark. I know what the Snark is. I think I know. Even from there, they could not make out her finger or dripped in the moonlight.
それは一番ダメ。
So, there isn't. The Rin isn't as strong without Silver's source, maybe with Ruby. Yeah. That's the worst move we could make. Even if we killed her, it wouldn't stop Stark. All this story would just boil her outside the park. The Snark War is actually pretty deep. I need to actually read up on the story now. Not to mention, I can't even kill her in the first place. Best I could do is only get halfway there. The Birdman, angered at its installs horror towards his master, moved to attack the mercilessly bird to a crisp. The two stood back to back, catching their breath. The first true magic is related to Alice's predecessor. Yeah, her mother, who sadly I read up that apparently she died. Because yeah, it's like after giving birth, no plan to speak of him, and no route to escape. They reached the rock bottom. Meanwhile, the oddities were forming a circle around the prey, as if they smelled blood and water. They were dragged to the bakery for an oven. Mince and the meat grinder at the butcher shop. Skewered and parade around the top of the carousel, but walk in the park at the authority pirate ship. Kind of overrated. Maybe we'll pull it away. Yeah, since Marvel, if I remember right, Marvel Fantasticals are like the step above like No Offense. It's like No Fantasticals are hero power. Marvel Fantasticals are like way up there if I remember right. Although Suki may probably explain it probably a bit more once we get that. Although I have to probably check because around that time I'll be taking like a week off in June for my sister's graduation. After 2 weeks of summer, they were eager to welcome their new guests. There was something I need to ask you, Asaki.
何？手短にね。今考え事してるから。
What is it? Keep it happy. I'm thinking here.
ああ、あの連中が何をしたいか嫌っていうほど伝わってくるんだけど。
Arcway a few years. Yeah, I know Arcway
あの子の趣
can.
味なのかな。
Can't remember. I think true ancestors are like the ones that really have access to for the most part. Okay, it's painfully clear that those things were what to do for us, but what about her? Or does she enjoy doing this?
その疑問はなかったわ。
And
練
these
習の
things.
人間嫌いは遊園地の怨念とフラットスナークの性格じゃない。基本的にまともなやついないから。アリスの使い魔って。
These things, hatred of humans comes from a deep-seated grudge within the park itself, maybe even Flash Dark's personality too. If Alice's Warriors are one big family of freaks.
Oh.
No, now you mention it. Yeah. Well, maybe. Probably might get some by LB7, perhaps. Because we are going to get Arcway, so yeah, maybe it'll give us some story about World Phantasm. Although, the thing is, though, since FGO is a fate world, basically the dead apostle ancestors don't exist, so yeah, some elements of Tsukimi don't exist. Although, the only exception to that is the world of Fate Strange Fate, is where basically things of both Fate and Tsukimi actually happen and collide together, which should be impossible. But yet, it's there. Is there basically no human can unleash their full power? That Fate actually says this. Yeah. Also, it kind of sucks that we don't actually get to see the fighting rap class. I was able to deny that there was some similarities.
それは結構。それで、青崎の考え事って？
Good to know.
方法考えついたのか。
So, did you come up with anything, Aosaki? How do we stop him?
期待させて悪いけどお手上げ。ま、あんたが殺されれば止まるでしょうけど。
Sorry to get your hopes up, but I'm out of ideas. Oh, but I bet they're to stop you. Stop if you drop dead.
それは嫌だ。とりあえず逃げよう。
No, thank you. Let's just get out of here.
え、しずきくん？
Hey, wait, Suzuki. That Grandpa heavily nerfed herself. She's gonna unnerf herself, yeah. Yeah. Well, then again, it's like she was built to actually help defend the planet in the Tsukiyami worlds because basically in the Tsukiyami worlds, the world of the planet is not strong enough, so servants cannot manifest in the Tsukihime world. So the planet ended up asking like the Crimson Moon for help, so they created the Dead Apostles and the Ancestors. She picked it in to supervise the sun during events. Sachiro, and until now, been murky following her lead. She grabbed Akko's hands and pulled her within them into a suicidal charge towards the stream of sword bread, in an attempt to break out the encirclement. Hopefully you'll get her sister. Actually, we haven't even seen her sister. I don't think so. Her sister's mentioned, but I never even don't think we got a picture of her. Although I do know, I think in one version she does have Primary Mur as a pet, which is, I guess, Fu in a different form. So Arcway's long hair, damn. Are you out of your mind? How on earth did you figure this is what we do next? Akko nonetheless follows Sotro's uncharacteristic gung-ho lead, cursing him all the while. Sotoro will not be able to break through the surrounding wall, have enemies with brute force. Akko regained her appearance and let fly spray of magical bullets ahead of Sotoro. They broke through the net and run as hard as they could. At this point, all was left to do was that they had planned from the outset, aimed to get out of the arc, but not before addressing what needed to be addressed. Where the hell did they come from? Have you already gave up Casimirs? Akko could not be in to comprehend Sotoro's reaction. Don't slow it out, just run.
違わないわよ。あんたを殺そうとした私も、あんたを殺したいアリスも、理由の結果も同じよ、私たち。
What are you talking about? I was supposed to kill you just like I did. Nothing's different. Not the reason nor the outcome. Although she wondered what was getting her so worked up, Akko did not stop. She showed herself that degree of social stupidity. Charging at the breadman so recklessly had caused her to lose control. Or cool.
あのね、一緒に逃げてるぐらいで勘違いしないでくれる？言っとくけど私、明日になったらまたあんたを殺しに行くから。死にたくないってんなら、ここで私からも逃げ出したら？
Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I'm gonna try to kill you again tomorrow. I really do. I'll really do it. So if you don't want to die, you should try to escape. Should be trying to escape me too. Got it?
それはまた今度の話だろう。だいたい青崎に殺されるのならいいけど。
Think about fate. True magic is kind of underwhelming, especially with all the drawbacks. Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably more potent and powerful, like in the Age of Gods. It's just really declined. And let's talk about that tomorrow. Like I said, don't really care if you kill me. I just don't want to be killed by that girl. And like I said. Why the hell not? That's me. Whew. I don't even know what she looks like, nor have I even spoken with her. What? No, it's like someone that doused water or voice of fury. Akko's anger was snuffed out by a observed simplicity of her reasoning. Because you even know what she looks like? Could it be that Sotoro did not mind being killed by someone you see? I bet that as long as I met them, Akko traces behind him, ever increasing complicity of it all. From the top of the clock tower, the girl observed the growth of her familiar, fat snark, a savior of the discard. It was a vile, vulgar fairy tale monster who provided those abandoned by fate with a glimmer of hope before snatching it all away. Allah said it under her control, but she was still keen to keep the narc from expressing his bad habits. After completing a lap around the park that had now reached the size of the entire town, the Robin made this situation. I knew it! I knew that was Snark! So they're trying to get it out. Akko was prioritizing the safety of the boy. Even if the result was wasting an entire day, choosing to not capitalize on the session was very much like her. Yeah, she pretty much is. She's the one exception that Natsu actually made. It's because, yeah, he actually liked her and stuff, even though it's like, even though I realized that she would be technically a contradiction in a way to his world if he add her, he decided, you know what, I'm just going to make an exception to the rule here. That's bad. I'm sure Akko would attempt to burn down the clock tower and me with it. The blue bird chirped in response. Although I kind of like how he's like making it work so that way this contradiction actually comes more like a working contrast in a sense. So that way it does go completely off the rails. It was denying its master's portrait of Akko, or agreeing that Akko's style would do exactly that. You lose, but most characters have other ways to counter. Outside, other might interpret it as a rejections every way.
退屈
Does it bore you? The robin jumped at being addressed so unexpectedly. It chirped and flapped its wings like a flustered servant frantic to otherwise.
珍しく気があっ
It's
た
rare to us get along so well.
いいわせっかくのゲームだしもう少しだけ盛り上げましょう
Okay, if it's game she wants, it's game she is. Let's liven these up a bit, shall we? Come, she pulled out a small object from her pocket. Pulled out an egg. It was a dark gray Easter egg. Emanating from inside was the ticking of a clock. The robin knew it to be a Polly Kickshaw with a bad attitude, far exceeding Flack Snarks, known to be among the best in one-on-one situations. Ooh.
行ってらっしゃい
Go and set the
戦え
extraordinary
る時間
time
は20分に設定したわ
for 20 minutes.
いつも通り控えめに壊れてきて
Break in the subway of yours. Together with the witch's brood, the egg filled with the praise that disappear. Yeah, yeah, as I can see. She definitely did turn into her own her own world. Suddenly, a strong wind swept through the park. The words, "I could have killed him all by myself," floated through the air. It was disappointed that something enormous that was both visible and yet overlooked. Tosca and Rudy can't do anything like that. Yeah, this is far beyond them because they're not a witch. Witch species in and of itself is like absolutely terrifying. I mean, heck. What was that one guy that basically was the master over Lost Spellbrunn? I forget his name. Akko and Sojiro continued their dash towards the bounded debris separating the clock park from the outside. Reality warping is considered exceptional. The Churro horde that stood in their way is far reduced to numbers. The iron fence that separated the two from the outside world was just 300 yards away. Fortunately, there's no particularly large building barring their path. The Ferris wheel had stood in their way, and just would have spelled it in, but thankfully have yet to reach the full strength. The only things that appeared out before them was the weak oddities that could essentially be handled by Akko's simple magecraft. Right, we might. She would have said make it to the fence if her lungs could only allow it. Since Akko was utilizing the apple mana, filling the park, her tank of magic energy was nearly full. Coupled with the fact that condition, her body's circuits was steadily improving to the extent that she would be able to unleash at least one of all onslaught. Until, above her division, something unusual was hovering. It looked onto Sojiro hovering like 10 feet above him to one side. Emi can't, but Emi isn't really that impressive because his stats are bad and he's kind of loses a lot. Yeah, this is a good look. What? What's that thing? It's been on us for a while. Sojiro has seemingly noticed before. Where Akko heads to the previous Aqua Cross Source guy. I mean, heck, he only was able to beat Gilgamesh in Unlimited Blade Works is because of the fact Gil is like probably too cocky, too arrogant, and on top of that, he didn't even bother to like master his like weapons or like any one in particular. Other than I guess that one swirly thing, but yeah. Well, it's come to luck, and yeah, it also comes down to like Gil's own arrogance. Sojiro had seemingly noticed before Akko since his previous awkward glasses sort of skies. In truth, yeah, pretty much. But the problem is, Gil, like, just sparsely uses AI. He uses them whenever he feels like it, whenever he feels like it is worthy of his attention. The truth, it would have been stronger for him not to notice the thing that was particularly good to him. Shiro had skills similar to Muramasa. In terms of the size, the floating object measured about 3 feet in diameter. Tiles were covered exterior, about which the multiple spinning lights, and that's about it.
卵か
That makes more sense. Is that an egg? Sochiro asked, not really sure about what to call it.
卵
An egg. If it's an egg, then that means it'll crack.
割れる卵
I love the cartoon violence here. Her bullets bounced off it like it was made of rubber. The trait, ability to deflect all outside interference, confirmed. Akko, the Zing, was undoubtedly a poly kicksaw.
やっぱり外からのルールじゃ壊れないか
Break his rules from the outside.
しずきくんあれから絶対に目をそらさないで
Suzuki, don't you take your eyes off it even for a second.
いい何があっても見続けること視界の隅に入れとくだけでいいから
Whatever happens, keep your eyes locked on, even if it's just scoring vision. Okay?
あ
Akko picked her pace and marked the doors. The Eggman, who sat in the wall, would crack just until he spoke. Humpty Dumpty! Nothing anyone could do or say would cause him to fall, but the moment they stopped looking, he would tumble down and break into pieces.
いわく王様の軍隊でも元に戻せない数の破片
All the king's horses and all the king's men could put it back together again, or so it said. Once the murder goose bomb Humpty Dumpty. Sochiro was the target. Then the moment he averted his gaze, it would tumble and explode.
まあ爆発するかどうかは知らないけど
Except for explode part, who knows what happens when it falls. Either way, it was going to scare something troublesome when it fell. Its oval shape, the keyhole adorned the front, and its writing inscribed upon it, they all made her anxious. If it was an egg, that meant that it was going to hatch at some point. Even if he continues to stare, once the time came for whatever was that inside came out, he would have even less ability to conserve their energy.
青崎早すぎないか
Kawasaki, slow down, would you?
あまり全力で走ると
If you use up all your energy now, you'll
後のことは考えないで
forget about what comes next.
いいからしずきくんは卵だけに集中して
Just focus on that egg. At this critical juncture, Bridman stepped out to join the egg and block their path.
邪魔
Out of the way. Bridman were marching towards the Grand Balaton. At the level of firepower, Akko should have easily mowed them down, however.
片焼きかこの
They just have hard crusts, take this. If failed to do a job, that man is time for a pull the crust use. Draw form a trigger bullet in case of a full wind jacket. If her previous shots were equivalent to a machine gun falling, then this was her artillery shot. We used to be more competitive and not just get wits versus top tier servants. The hard crust of bread that had absorbed or snapped without a dent scattered into thousands of tiny pieces that are drawn. Turbulent. Whoa. Of course, the destruction did not just end with the breadman. Sending bricks flying previously paid down road was now there. Nearby saw a turn of the skeleton. He's not looking at the bread, at the egg, is he? A spectacle made such requests of force. No improvement or Akko's ability to weigh these things would obstruct their path more.
ちょっとなんで距離取るのよそこそばにいないと危ないじゃない
Hey, don't wander off. This issue's gonna stick close to me.
ほらもっとこっち
Come on, get closer.
言っ
We're
とくけどあんたがあいつらに囲まれちゃったらアウトよ私人質とか意味ないタイプだしそもそも区別して撃つとかそういうのできないし
you're out of strikes, you know. If they surround you, you're a goner. You should know the hostages don't mean squat to me. It's not like I can pick out my targets precisely anyway. My sister Sojo. Yeah, I fully appreciated the part about the hostage, but he got skips to it.
つまり今はどこであろうと
It's no defense versus Mr. Guy as well. I think they should have a. Although the funny thing you say that, Shiro was originally supposed to be a girl, but that's I mean, Shiro used to be a girl. God, I really need to go. So glad I'm going to transfer into new apartments that went up or no. Okay. I think you have made him use it like Gil, and you can use any no offense as a full extent to give him the knowledge of weapon. It's good nature, no matter what is said. You. He's not looking at it. Man, that's how she was by a typical naive response. You cannot help but press. Central was a straightforward arrow proof. So I stayed firmly and focused on the egg. Overhead, even in the midst of the chaos, immediately we have a photo. Wait, so look at it? That's kind of confused. Illustrations are kind of contradicting it. That statement. I don't know why I was worried. You may not be the sharpest tool, but you sure are good following orders. One thing I was talking, I was actually just been missing tougher before. No, you aren't imagining that. They are getting stronger. They must have nailed down their massive production process, so they're turning into attention to upping the quality. Let's figure out they're just gonna keep tougher as we go. It seems like even these bready guys have started to develop individuality. Because if you see the weapon, you should be able to remember its true potential. More like Gil. Oh, more like Gil. Okay, I see. Yeah, I'm really misreading it. I need to think about it, but they might start spraying themselves up with jelly or worrying their feelings out with merging with one another. There's a joke. Her eyes were that serious. Yeah, so instead of like doing with bread men, we're dealing with walking PB&J sandwiches. Just getting smushed to death by peanut butter and jelly. God, good way to go. Sorry that the 5 sisters going in more dire. So, you're saying those guys are going to become as terrified as a puppet from the House of Mirror soon? No, you can count on it, and I have my hands full with bread that rare. Say Susugi. Think you can handle yourself against one of those? Sort of stuck to say completely outright upon his face. I don't think so. Let's get moving. Yeah, forward to hang around here. Akko took a deep breath and began to sprint once again. Far in the distance out, the fog airfest waited 300 paces away. As long as nothing happened, it would make it there in one piece. Sandra followed after Akko, holding onto that all too convenient help. But help was something ever fleeting. It lasted not even 300 yards. The edge of the amusement park may have been the edge of the world. Dozens of undoes as it rises can be seen, crowding the sky like a giant cloud or a thick curtain, or perhaps cooling in lips. It was the end of the road, the hour limit of the outrageous and fantastical realm. And yet, Akko found it to be much like the last page of Rose picture book. So it's fence on top of fence on top of fence. The sight turned her mind back. Well, this is about as bad as it gets to G5. The snark, the island of despair had at last brought Akko to her knees as she stared at the swelling border. The park indeed had an end. Even now, as Akko and Sojiro expected to be, a festified amusement park from the residential area neighboring it, and had doubled the height and been made to sturdier. Another hurdle she seemed foreseen before laying eyes on it. Expecting after the snark fight, Akko had become prepared to demolish the obstacle to. But this construction before would be on that of a mere wall. Yeah, we guys don't even upside down. What was self should have separated the underworld from the moral one. Our fence is like a relentless searching sea. One or two walls could easily be topped. Even 10 or 20 could be dealt with one another. Between the power left her body, which filled Bark, putting on the brave front, was with her power. She could fully mobilize her circus and crest to the point of a burnout in a last-ditch effort, like some reenactment of the point in the Red Sea.
でも
But then it'll
そ
be
れ
it.
でお
If the path could be opened, she would not have the energy left to walk it. It was obvious that it would become of her afterward. The residents would hardly forgive her for wreaking such havoc around their park. Like ants drawn to honey, they would swarm the helpless girl and tear her to pieces. Despondent and exhausted, she felt the faint sting of remorse. Escaping the park. Looking back at how they got in here, I could recognize that her choices had been her own undoing. Under the golden full moon, beams of steel bent and merged like wire framed sculptures. It's only a matter of time before the amusement park itself became one colossal monster, a horde of familiars gathered in the plaza where Alice was, and formed an impenetrable blockade around her. Just above the head, the body beside her, the whispering I called Scratch Stumpy continued to shuffle what appeared to be the surface.
Aozaki.
Aozaki.
しずきくん
This voice snapped her out of her trance, only for a moment. The stark reality of this situation quickly dawned on the Nova's mage. The sheer helplessness of all, as it ripped out to snatch away what the will she had to resist.
ゲートに行こ
Let's see
う。
the
ここは
gate.
どうしようもないけど、
Enter the gate.
入り
It's
口ならもう
hopeless
ちょっと
here,
マシだろ
but we might as well have a chance at an entrance.
フラットスナークだっけこいつにもルールがあるって言ったじゃないか。
Fire Shark thing. You said it was his own set of rules to follow, right?
なら、これは役割の問題だ。
Then we need to think about the basics. The fence would have
ゲート
been
なら、出入
impassable
り
for
口
the
として
start,
機能
but
してい
the
るかもしれない。
gates work as an entrance and an exit. Shoujo had not given the peg. Akko found herself honestly admiring Sojo's ability to analyze snarks and characteristics given the circumstances. Now calm, she shielded resolve.
そうね
You're right, the gate
確か
is
に
good
もう
option.
けどたどり着くのは難しいわ一番弱かった焼きたてパンですら今はもうあれだもの
Even the weakest enemies, those loaves are becoming hard to deal with.
広場や入り口に
Plus,
は
our
もっと
familiars
上
are
等な
just
のが
getting
たむろしてるだろうし
They keep gathering at the plaza
あ
at the
の観
entrance.
覧車以上の
I
怪
mean, the
物かもし
gate
れない
itself might be a
確
monster,
か大きなキッツィちゃんだったでしょ
even worse than the Ferris wheel, as designed to look like a giant Christie.
青崎はゲートには行かないのか。
No, you're not going to the front thing?
Mom.
Nah, we have our beds
そ
over
れよ
here.
りこっち
Akko looked over the glass to the undaunting iron fences. It was too late to achieve the goal of making it out alive. In that case, she decided to prioritize her promise and that she had made.
今からこの鉄柵を壊すからあなたはそこから外に出て
I'm gonna go ahead and break down the fences here. You have to escape once you see an opening.
それで私の役割はおしまい
Then
よ
my job will be done. The other words were few. Her tongue was told the whole story. She was telling them to escape by himself.
信じ
It's
られ
not
ない。
possible.
こんなの、
Destroying
青崎だけじゃ
yourself,
壊せないだろ。
Kawasaki.
私だけならねでも今はこの遊園地が味方してる燃料がこれだけあるんだから私は重心になるだけでいいんだし
If I were by
一発で
myself,
かいのお見舞いしてやるわ
you might be right, but right now the park's actually helping me. With this much fuel, I need to do is aim and pull the trigger. All it needs is one good blast. That said,
それでも一回が限度だから穴を開けたらあんたには全力で走り抜けてもらうしかないけど
that said, all you're able to do at once. So as soon as I open the hole, you need to run for it like your life depends on it. She carved a path in the iron sea of defenses. Roaming on the one fell after the jet. Great incantation launched a massive projectile that pushed her limbs to the extreme. As an outsider, Sotro can not even begin to imagine just how of a burn this would be for her. All he could imagine was the hazy vision of alcohol being left behind in this park. What happened to her? Would happen to her? Would that girl come back to save her? Squirrel was imagining he knew she would not. After Akko and exhausted her very best in order to save him, that girl would not stay her hand. The only way Alice would let Akko off the hook was if Akko killed Sotro as famous, and so
20メートルぐらい離れてて
back 50
準備
feet.
に手間取るけど
Take time to
その
cast,
卵
but
の
make sure
表
to
面が
finish
茹で
this
上がる
before
まで
they
には
get
終わらせるから
gets hard boiled. And what went on without saying that was the only path.
待ってくれ。
Wait, I want to
俺
know.
を逃がすって言うけど、それに意味はあるのか？
Is there any point to even let me go?
ないけど
None.
外に出られたところでアリスから逃げ切れるとは思えないし
Once you get out, there's no way you'll be able to escape Alice forever. But I'm stubborn to the
これ
very
ぐ
end.
らいは最後の意地よ
I said I'll protect you, so on that moment I'm gonna do my best to keep you alive. Surprised for a seemingly moral stance. Sotro saw Alice, saw Akano in a new light. And, but of course, Sotro realized that she was not fighting for his sake, but for the sake of her pride. Wait, I guess you say that.
けど、それなら俺だけ逃
But
が
it's
すの
not
は
like
らしく
you'll
ない
let me
ぞ。
go by yourself. Or give me a break.
何よいいから離れてて
Give me a break. Just move already. For some reason, Akko took a step away from him. She was recalling how an hour ago he had gotten the better of her.
青崎、まだ意地を張れるんなら、
Alasaki,
他の
if
こと
you're
をや
still
ろう。
willing to fight, then let's do it some other way.
このお化けみたいな鉄柵を壊せるなら、他に壊すべきものがあるはずだ。
If you can destroy that monster of offense, then let's put your power to better use.
ないわよ
There isn't anything I can do. Sorry, but
私は目に見えるもの
all I
しか
can do
壊
is
せない
destroy what I can see.
最後まで形のない希望にすがるとか考えるのも寒気がする
I have for lone hope is in
いい
why I want to go
今
out.
はフラットスナークなんかより
No, you get the fact is that bonusing and letting you slip out is all I can manage.
私
I
に
can't
負え
be
る最大限の責任って
Flash Shark or anything else. At least I can do now for
逃げるのか？
so you're gonna respond for this responsibility too. Akko was just about to turn her back on him when Sotro clenched her hand. His words caused something inside her to boil with rage. It was as though someone had set her eye on fire. Surprised that bricked under her frozen open to her true feelings of disappointment, she felt towards herself that followed her frozen winds.
誰が
Why you
逃げるのはそっち
don't
逃
get
がして
it
あげ
backwards?
るのはこっちだ
I'm
って
letting
言
you
うの
escape.
よ
I'm not our way around.
いざとなったら遊園地ごと爆破してみせるわ
I'll build the whole damn park if I feel like it. Just you watch.
そうか。
Okay, in that case,
まあ
oh, we'll wait
こ
some
こ
for
で
me
俺を
to
逃が
help
すの、その
escape
記
me
録
right
は
now.
本命のために取っておこう。それまでは俺も手伝うから。
Save that for a moment when you really mean it, and I'll give you a hand. I'll begin until then.
手伝う
Not
それこそ
you,
無駄な
not
気遣いよ
me. Talk about a waste of time. Now,
頭きたいいから逃げろバカだいたい走り詰めで息も絶え絶えなやつなんか使えないわよ
now you're just really pissing me off. Just get out of here, you dimwit. What use do I have to do whose special power is running himself ragged?
そりゃいい加減ヘトヘトだけど、
I may be really exhausted, but you're worship, Kawasaki.
疲れ以上に傷の方が傷んでるだ
Just
ろ。
look at yourself. You're tired and injured. Not to mention your injury on the back that Akko had nearly forgotten about. Even now, she can ignore the pain that had afflicted on her spine. With an iron will, she managed to push out of her mind mostly.
ほら、
You,
魔術とか抜きにすれば、まだ俺の方がマシじゃないか。入り口までおぶっていくことぐらいなら、なんとか。
even off any of the Magecraft stuff, I'm still better shape than you are. I could probably even carry you all the way to the entrance if I need to.
できないことは口にしないで
Don't make promises you can keep.
もういいから言って慣れているもの私は
Just
でもあなたは違う
Just go.
こ
I'm
ういうの
used to
初めてで
this.
しょ
You're not. This is your first time facing this sort of thing, right?
だからいいの
So it's okay. Fact they were a team. Fact is you would still have to kill him after all of this. None of the irony was lost on her as you said those words, because none of that mattered anymore. Still, Sotro didn't let go of her hand. He gripped her even harder, and his expression was the same as ever. Akko frowned, trying to figure out if he was upset with her.
確かに、こういうのは初めてだ。
You're right, this is my first time with this sort of thing.
けど、山じゃ危険な目ぐらい合ってる。鹿に襲われたことだってあるんだぞ、俺は。
But I experienced my own fair share of danger in the mountains. I ain't even been attacked by a deer, you know. Yeah, that's something really not to be careful with because, yeah, deer's horns can be really dangerous. As the city girl, she had no idea what it meant to be attacked by a deer. His determination was apparent enough. True. Looking back on it now, she had maintained his composure through it all. A normal person would barely be able to walk through such a panic. Perhaps growing up deep in the mountains, far from civilization, had taught him how to stay calm in the face of so much. So trust me, just low. He spoke it in his plain, unadulterated figures. Released his hands. There was no lie to him. In fact, he was too honest, much like she found it hard to believe in him. Sojo had no reason to go that far, as it said Akko had no future. After confessing this and telling them to escape, why did this boy still have to offer help a person like her? Oh, son, why do all this? You're gonna die if you stay with me. This is your last chance. To think it through, you should be running. I know, but I'm not going anywhere. Sotro answered immediately, realizing that Akko was looking for his reason. This level of insight is that Sotro demanded a round of applause. If I do, you die, Aozaki. His words were as irrational as always. But why do it? Why go so far for me? She was yelling out of frustration. After thinking a moment, Sotro replied, I guess it's because I like you. Simple, then at some point, his face seemed to ask why she would even question him, so. There was a pause. No one, or 2 seconds. He surprised attack and stopped Akko in the tracks. Alice was not the only one who had an ace up her sleeve. The line reached deeper than even a 5-star could ever hope to. All Akko could respond with an expression of her shock. It was a simple, stubborn reason. Strongest kind of Sotro Sasaki deed incomprehensible to be able to work with unconditionally with someone who was trying to kill him. But she felt as though she finally grasped the silver of his true nature. Tuburu and the others' assessment was correct, as affecting as it would sort of admit. Even though I can't stand you, you're our drip, you know that. He laughed as her soul grumbling. At this point, he was used to her insults. There was a clash of wills in here. Akino's blood ran hot from her blazing heart. If he was going to make it a face like that, all she could do was try to think of a way to get him both home. Running away it's really my thing anyway. I'm fine. Let's take it out to the end. If you're going to stay with me, Suzuki, I'm sure we can find some way for you to help. Though their tone and lane, there was still hesitation in her eyes. So it was only natural Akko had not even had a clue as how to begin with to fight to start. If only she had just been a bit more skilled, or just to train just a bit more, there might be some way to look for it. I'm better at this. If I only have to peel back. I have the way to peel back its true form. But I realized that her apparition showed. Why you explain it, so she just has to figure it out by herself, but. What? That's all we need to figure out. Akko gave him a look as if to ask what was the price of a ring. I mean, you asked me earlier to look for something weird, right? Sojo made a face that suggested that you should have bought it up sooner. Wait, you know what it is? I think so. Well, we've been wandering around a bit. Well, actually, Sojo was sure quietly is to not be overheard. Huh? Well, it's certainly unexpected. But then again, equally obvious, after he explained the mistake, she knew right away he was correct. At least she had Urkifree and Stark's original form, namely, yeah, the bird. Because, yeah, it's kind of strange. We have all these garble-like creatures, and the bird sticking out like a store thumb, but yeah, it's so natural. that we don't even realize it. It's like just right in your face. They strategize for 10 minutes. After deliberation regarding Stark's true form and figuring a plan to attack, they to exchange Zhao's acceptance of
それじゃあ
we'll be
こ
splitting
こ
up
からは
now.
でもミラーハウスの時みたいなのは勘弁してよ。この作戦の肝はあなたなんだから。開始1分でドジったら本当に打つ手なしだからね。
Just to make it a repeat of the blunder in the House of Mirrors. You're the crux of this operation. If you bungle the start even a little, there's no coming back from this one. Although she just jabbed him from his previous failures as a decoy, her voice was raw. Ako's original vulgar had returned to her as Sochiro's discovery of the truth. Meanwhile, Sochiro was again the serious in its own way. Ako's warning to heart.
ならいいけど。いい？さっきと立場は反対よ。
Good, but remember, our positions are reversed this time.
失敗したら死ぬのは私じゃなくてそっち。もうフォローに回れないから、できるだけ慎重にね。
If you fail, I'm not the one who's gonna die, it's you. I won't be there to clean up your mess, so just watch your step.
分かってる。
I know.
今更ながら、やっぱりさっき逃がしてもらえばよかったと思うぐらい慎重だ。
After all this, I regret not taking your advice earlier. I'll be careful. Sochiro nodded and telling her to leave it to him. Although she had made it sound like he was holding a grudge, it seemed like to him it was the only way to show his resolve. Ako led aside of the feet. Once more, she can figure him out. Seriously,
大バカなんだか大物なんだか。
I can't tell if you're a big idiot or a big hero.
でも任せた。
Whatever one is a gun on you. Don't let me down.
静か。
She wanted to say that as she believed in him, but apparently that was too embarrassing for her. Ako turned away from Sochiro and began to run. She began to think of a way that maybe this change of pace was not so bad after all. And so, in the intermission, the young cast were handed their new lines. But what the climax? At long last, the Night of Witches had entered its climax.
別行動？あの二人が？
They split up, you sure? She was filled with a foreboding of the Robin's report. Apparently, they had gone in the opposite directions. The park's residents had set off after the boy witness, and it would take a mere minutes to capture him. So the bird said,
どういうこと？
What do you mean? It's actually him.
追いかけているのは本当に
They're following, not
青
Akuno
子が
in
変
the
装しているの
skies?
ではなく。
The robin flapped his wings, stripping away any doubt. It had seen them with its own two eyes. Akuno was heading towards the plaza, and the cocky brat was making a run for the roller coaster.
青子が彼を見
Are you
捨て
saying that Akuno abandoned him?
そんな簡単なことならいいけど。
Sounds a little too good to be true.
ダンプティは彼に張り付いているの。
Is Stumpy still on his tail? The robin nodded enthusiastically. It didn't know about the other birds, but with its familiar night vision, it has seen that sucker clearly because he had moved to the high point.
ダンプティは何？
And Dumpy,
最後まで歌わせろ。こんな褒め殺したい間抜けはまたとない。ですって。
he said to let him sing to the very end. That he may never get the chance to again to do so for a fool this asinine. Scratch Dumpy was a ticking time bomb that would drop and detonate the moment the target averts his gaze. That is, as long as this target continued to serve him. In a way, was a gentlemanly poly kicksaw. Although Alice wished she would forgo such niceties when in battle.
そうね。
Let him have his fun.
視線を切らないだけではダンプティからは逃げられない。
Keep an eye on Dumpty.
表面の詩が完成すれば扉
We'll
が
save the boy anyway. Once the poem on the surface is complete, the door will open.
彼がどこまで逃げようと、あと少しでダンプティがしまってくれるわ。
No matter how far he runs, something will end him for us. Until the park where the shark was destroyed, Sojiro would not be able to escape, which means the longer term was Akko. Akko had promised to protect the boy, which begged the question, where was she running to?
ここにいる限り青子の動向はつかめない。
As long as we stay here, we can't track Akko. I'll look over to the park, ignoring the Robin's attempt to get her attention with his pilgrimage. Flash Shark was nearly reached his full size. It was a different breed of beast compared to our cheap pollies. To her, it was one of 3 of the most irreplaceable and precious familiars.
そうね。任せたわスナーク。青子が諦めない以上。
Yeah, she saw
あなた
your
は手は抜かない
snark.
で。
Don't hold back until Akko's brought to her knees. Asa reminded where she was, with the same historical merit that, as a troll, under the bridge in a prison clad reptile, Flastark was Alice's ultimate police. She was placing her trust in this reputation and ability.
でも忘れないで。これはゲームよ。
But don't forget, this is a game.
勝敗がついたのなら。
Contest is over,
私の
return
と
to
ころに
me.
帰ってきて。
Drifty Fog ignored the master's words. It was one thing that Alice had misread. Flastark was a king, and even among our police, of terrible vulgar antics. Death to the defeated, gruesome tragedy to the vanquished. And followed no pleasures use unless it brought about total ruination of life and wealth. The fog bellowed like a wicked laughter. After all, only a king had the right to decide the fate of the vanquished, and a stark scream could not be contained. Thus, it had not even the slightest intent to play fair despite the master's orders. So in other words, Alice has no control over this. This is going to get bad. Over 100 feet high. One careful step at a time, the figure made its way originally up the track and stretching into the heart of the music park. He stayed his breath, his breathing chest, and his spine, his breath. Even the tiny moments were an obstacle to his progress. Amazingly, one thing that made a fail space advance higher and higher was Sojiro Suzuki. Far below was a horde of bird creatures, congregated by the roller coaster's platform. As they busted their way in that, their numbers continued to increase. By the minute, seemingly cheering on Sojiro with raised arms as he made his descent, or cheering him more like beckoning him to come down.
助かった。あれ、高いところは苦手なんだ。
Always they don't like heights. Of course, Sojiro never did. Sojiro, but his current state was the lesser of the two evils. One thing that followed him now was the bone egg. For heaving a huge sight, Sojiro bent forward a bit and climbed the track it reached the heavens. 150 feet now. This was a skyscraper. He would be on the 16th floor. Strong gust of whip up through his hair. He was at instinctual fear of heights. In particular, this place, like this, which has called for visions of falling to one's death, would cause a person's knees to tremble against their will. An instinct that forewarned death, urging the master to return to safety of the ground. It's a reasonable action. Climbing the roller coaster tracks, with far beyond flight stories into the realm of fantasy. A strong wind changed in their air pressure were a hindrance. Six screamed at him to stop, causing his limbs to go numb. His muscles go limp and his mind to race. Even if he had tried to been tied to the lifeline, a mere 50 feet of climbing would still have caused his thoughts to freeze out of sheer terror. It would only get worse from here, especially so. Every foot forward increased the load of both his mind and his body by another degree.
よし。頂上まであと
I
少し。
could do this just a little more to the top. The burden in his mind notwithstanding, he carefully measured the toll on his body with every step. His legs had carried him running apart, threatening to buckle the moment he went on the ground. His fatigue was likely why Akko had stressed that Central Road role was more dangerous than hers.
待てよ。逆を言うと、疲れてなければなんとかなると思ってたんだ
Wait,
よ。
would Alasaki be so worried if I wasn't tired? Central laughed and he started at the phone egg. His reflection, of course, the events that led to the certain situation. Not even 10 minutes ago had been engaged in conversation.
じゃあ次ね。正体が分かった以上、あとはどう壊すかを話し合いましょう。
Okay, since we know what form it's going to take, and we need to talk about how we're going to destroy it. Shudder traveled down the spine at Akko's smug grin. In hindsight, Akko had been more than happy at this point to make him do something absurd.
どう壊すかって。
Sorry, you ain't even going to. Sotra was spoken, figuring out what he was about to say was silly, especially considering Akko had the magecraft to tear clean through defense. Furthermore, up until now, not once offered his insight as to the true form of the shark, only due to his belief that there was nothing that they could have done about it, even if they were wiser. But that had changed. For Akko, the impossible is quite literally within the grasp.
そうでもないわ。
And no, I'm gonna say and no. By estimate, I
あ
wanted
と
to get to
50
100 feet,
分ギリギリで届かない。
150 feet of the thing. The sphere filled Sotro's eyes. Akko lifted her head. Her long hair and with magical energy in the fingertip had cut clean a trickle from her head.
足りない分は努力と根性ってね。
Now if we make up the difference with some elbow grease.
あなたはできるだけ高いところまで逃げて。頃合いを見て合図を出すから。そうしたらこれを空に放ってくれる？しずきくんの役目はそれだけでいいから。
Get up to the highest place again. When the time is right, I'll give you a sign. Just toss this in the air, and that's all you need to do. Based on where Akko pointed her gaze, she did not merely mean to leave it up to Sojiro to pick the highest place he could find. Akko was staring conspicuously at one of the amusement park's two main attractions, the roller coaster. So, in other words,
つまり、青崎とは別行動をとって、あの怪物たちに追われない。
so in other words, you're saying
高
we
いところ
split
に
it up.
逃げ込めと。
When you want me to run away from the monsters chasing me and escape somewhere high, right?
そういうこと。ほら、あのうねうね動き出してるコースターのレールとかよくない？
Exactly. Hey, wouldn't you know it? The tracks of that winding coaster are perfect. There are two demons in this park. Her smile made even Sojiro want to respond. To what got to that, it was far from perfect.
疑いたくはないんだが、
Far from me to question your motives here, but
本当はあの子とグルで、俺を遠回しに殺そうとしてるんじゃないか。
you're not secretly working for that girl to kill me, are you?
あら、
Now, wasn't
私
you
に
say
殺
you
さ
were
れる
okay
のがいいんでしょ？
if I was the one that killed you?
人の出現を悪用するのは良くないと思う。
It's not nice to twist other people's words. Sojiro hanging his head is not the same. This was not saying. If he did what, as she said, he would die from exhaustion before the Christie even had a chance to eat him.
私だって鬼じゃないわ。ほら、こっち向いて。
I'm not a monster, he'd look at me.
おまじない。
I'll cast a charm on you.
うん、
It was the lightest of touches. Close enough for the breath and skin to become in contact. But, Osaki finished with a hush voice. For one of them, was rare, a mundane magecraft. There was a head-spinning sneak attack of intimacy.
軽く、弱く、うまく、早く。
Be light and frail, nimble and fast, the weight of the air, the tremble of one's breasts.
チクタクチクタク。急げや急げ。
Tick tock, tick tock, there's no time to waste. Light lags behind while the shadows pull ahead. Which could not be produced by normal legs, carrying a particular weight to them, reverbed against his eardrums. And the words that were given cover. These would have been the cover of her name, Blue. Sojiro was exhausted by and burning blood, gently cooled.
ぶ、泳ぐ、駆け抜ける。
Fly, swim, run. Bird in the sky, fish in the sea. You in the distance.
チクタクチクタク、汽笛を鳴らせ。
Tick tock, tick tock. Sound the alarm. Stuff. Doubt and anxiety in the sack begin the journey at John.
星はいつでも北の空。
The star is always in the northern sky, no matter where you go. A shining star falls into your heart. In reality, it took about a few seconds, but the sun contact had felt a little longer until the end.
よし、
Remember,
あ、
it's
成功
successful, I think.
成功したは
It's
ず。
the first time I actually
こ
felt
こ
it
ま
take
で手応
place.
えがアリスの小言もたまには役に立つじゃない。
I guess all the lectures from Alice paid off. A very merry echoes aside from the very first Shoujo. After he asked what the heck occurred, she responded,
簡単な暗示よ。一時的に恐怖心を消しておいたから、高いところに登っても平気なはず。
It's an elementary suggestion. A temporary erase your sense of fear, so you should be able to climb there no problem.
あの手の
Biggest
作
thing
業
standing
で
in your
一
way
番
is
足を
your
引っ張
nerves,
るの
right?
同様でしょ。恐怖も何も感じなければ、地上何メートルだろうと平均台とそう変わらないってわけ。
If you don't feel fear, then no matter how high you climb, it's no different from walking in a balance beam. You seem to get it. It actually sounded like a Greek research robot, except as an explanation for her strange actions. So you separately turned off that part of the brain, I take it.
着いた。
Yeah, I finally made it. You arrived at the summit of the track. At the height of the nearly 200 feet, Social had a bird's view of the entire music park. It's able to spot Akko's figure right away. The plaza not far from here seems like preoccupied with something conspicuous. Their surroundings still. Remember, we're still busy trying to figure out how to reach Social by trial and error from the roller coaster's entrance. They had over 300 feet of distance to cover.
汗をかくはずだ。こんなに移動したのか。
Where I'm dressed this up. Look how much ground I covered. The strong winter gales quickly dried the sweet sweat on his brow, but he was drenched underneath the dirt. This much sweat was worth at least a half a mile run, not to mention all the scars he had experienced for the scarcity fares out for the night.
でもよかった。
Okay, now all I need to do is wait for the signal. Felt a wave of relief, but not for at the thought of Akko destroying the Stark in his nightmares park. He was simply happy that he could repay a bit of debt from the House of Mirrors. A pool of blood rose to the plaza. Akko, okay. That's the signal. Sojo stood up at the top of the rack, pulled the pouch that he stored in his pocket, and tossed it forward. In regard to his questionable footing, he gave a mighty overall pinch. The small pouch drew the parallel curve of Akko's direction and quickly went united in the midair. Inside the bag was a lock of her hair and a small stone of weight.
高いところから風に乗せてくれれば、あとは何とかするから。
And the wind up somewhere high up, and I'll take it from here. Akko said, and Sojiro's effort was set the plan in motion. The drift of hair remained airborne, drifting as it was washing over its owner. Sojiro's job was done. He remained concerned about the egg covering over, but there was nothing he could do about it. Sojiro brushed aside a leaf as he leaned forward to watch the rest of the plan unfold, and then,
むむ。
in the corner of his eye, he finally spotted something familiar approaching Akko.
ルート、セット。
Rounding set connecting to the crest.
Direct. 1層、2層、予備に3層。
Direct current, first layer, second layer, third layer, in the verse.
魔力提供。体現に固定。
Magical energy supply fixed to the greatest source.
循環よし。射角よし。術式安定。大まかよし。
Control check. Angle check. Form a stability check. So is it good enough? Pirate began to carve herself into the brick street. Casting it of an unprecedented incantation with unprecedented rage, keeping the right attention contained within her chest. The flinching maid snapped her fingers.
決めた。ツアープラン、スターマイン。
Dirt plant, star mine. Done. Bullet configuration. Confirmed launch. She knelt at the desired formula, raised her head as the sky. Not even close to the transfigured fantasy laid around her. Interest and vision now. Only one thing, one untouchable thing was reflected in her blue eyes.
実はずっと気になっていたことが。
So it's been on my mind for a while now. This is how the conversation started a few minutes prior. So we began a simple statement of the fact. In truth, it was really as simple as discrepancies between the reality of an hour ago and the illusion of a preset. Difference both licential and infinite at the same time.
雲があったから勘違いしたんだろうけど。
I thought maybe I didn't know what I was looking at because of the clouds. There's something hiding in plain sight, something both seemingly impossible and reality. And unusual gave it a location. In its amusement park, where everything is paragon and chef, something was basically flaunting its normalcy.
今夜は新月なんだ、青崎。
Tonight's supposed to be new moon, Aosaki.
思えば初めっからその形だったものね。
Yeah, come to think of it, it was his original form. The distance from the Earth to the moon was 238,900 miles. If it was truly identical to the actual moon, then this monster then okay. If it's truly identical to the actual moon, this monster would indeed live up to his eerie reputation. If this is far from it would mean that it had no need to hide its form. It could find its true form in front of all. But due to the very fact that it was hiding its true form, it meant that it must have been within its reach. The monster's camouflage implied that it sat up at the reach of a human hands.
こっちの最大射程はよくて600ってところだけど。
At best, my max range is 650 yards or so. At this point, it was time to give it all she had. Drawing energy single for the park, she exceeded her firearm. Blue firework launched into the air. Looking up at the hair dancing in the wood above, Akko reached her hand as it catch the night sky. His mage's own body made a perfect callus. Female hair, which had grown over many years, made it particularly visible upon the visual source of fuel. So I guess it wasn't a bird after all. It was just a false thing to actually make it, okay, yeah, to trick the audience into thinking that it was actually the creature. Very well played there, Nasu. Well played. If that's the case. To use it, all she had to do was apply her will. She locked her fingers on both her hands together and shouted.
三層展開。全術式。連結起動。
Deploy the third layer. All formats commence the link activation. She hurled the forefoot in a querying challenge to find the moon itself. Mist began to roll around the cortex. Much high above the forest banks, a slight bow of the blue fell and appeared in midair. Did she figure it out? By the time Alice noticed the change, hostility between Akko and the shark was palpable. Very well. This round goes to Akko. Returned immediately. Perhaps the moon the rain caused was too obvious to hint. But I suppose one can't win them by shark. But I continued to think in with no sign of ever the moon. And floated in the night sky would not pardon with such an insolent mage, as the Lord of the Night would blow and bow down to such impudence. There was no saying the wrath and challenge was so fragrant. Snark! The robin swooped in and gave his report. Alice waved it away. Her gaze fixed on the transformed golden moon. Her cause of restraint did not reach it. this fairy tale monster was beholden to nobody, and would have no qualms to unleash his vast might upon the spirited prey. The core of her magic full howled. Magic circus where her body spun. Akko fed the magic energy, scorching her nerves with an imaginary flame. She was linked to the formula inscribed onto the ground. The spell was ready to execute at the same time, and it always was, but output was beyond reckoning. With much firepower, even this mundane process would invite injury upon its caster. It was enough to burn the nerves that were acting as the barrel. I can do this. Master heat reached a terrifying temperature. Akko trembled at his endless feeling, but would have to grin and bear. At least with their efforts to come to naught. Akko could no longer move. When she had ruined the Stark's true form for Sojiro, she gave up on any superiority the movable turn offered, instead to become stationary cannon. That was the only why she could reach it. It was impossible to hunt the Stark unless she anchored her crest to this location and angle. At the same time, the action revealed she was out of options. Much to the fuse was that she would have no choice but to fight the Baron. Akko took a big fat that was the way she wanted it. Her preparation was complete. She would be able to deliver this maelstrom of magical energy directly to the moon, like a rocket payload. The fur layer forming the air served to scan his muzzle. Sight, and it would fire the magical energy once it reached it quickly, and allowed Akko just a single fire. Bug. Got warped in her scope. Akko charged her magical energy to display the golden form as its mocker. Come, worship the heaven's powers was the scion of an instant bloodline, for it was the point among the outer sky. The mystic fishes, represented by the Jays of Mystic, Mist, and its clouds, called the greatest treasure known to the world of Magecraft. A rarity more valuable than the entire kingdom, the crown phantasm. That's it. That's my snark. Love how it's like an upside down skull there. So apart from the beginning of reading the world's greatest fabrication. Not yet, I just need more time. It's like screener to wait no further. The spirit monster was the greatest of the kind, and its true form was about to be exposed. An open hostility indicated that it was making preparations for a counterattack. It can't move. Not with his incantation in his arms. The attacks before me. It's all over. She had to shoot it down first. My strategy was 80%. The swarm was operating normally. All that's left to do was pull the trigger, but my voice decided and asked her if it was really okay. And one shot at this, and there was no going back. Battle precision with no room for miscalculations. Even a second in hesitation would rip the scales. But was she ready for the pain? Was she ready to deal with the fallout and misled? Could she really even take down the moon with such a tiny bullet in the first place? Enough. Shoot first, ask questions later. Eyes fixated on the move were filled with determination. Awareness that the movement she fired. The intense recoil would overwhelm her entire body as she shot. Bring on, I'm gonna set this thing spring. With all I got. Everyone's ounce of spirit she possessed. She fired her ultra long range projectile into the sky. Third layer embraced the magic ball of fire from the surface of the earth. The crest, the extension of Akko's self, unleashed a light to pierce the moon. However, another spooky canopy pulverized the beam. It returned to ether. 3,000-degree flame, nothing as they came in contact with the bullet. The recoil of the Grand Mage Craft literally boiled her blood. Her body couldn't handle it. Her heart stopped. Her brain was numb from the pain and the impact. The nurse petrified and then, but her magical crest received them all by force. Yeah. Ice. It was blocked by ice. You know her vision was gone. The white, gone white. She could still see it. Showing the blood in her mouth. Akko looked up at the sky. There it was. The enormous shield of ice. Searing deformed skull. This far too late, that far too hard. I should have fired before I made that shield. It was too reckless to shoot head on. Who cares? First layer, second layer, activate. Hurry! Decided to think or hesitate. When she shot through park, throughout the park and magic energy throughout the park began to gather. Akko knelt. Crossed the tyrannical force of the moon. Akko initiated the ice layer yet to fully form. The flash shark still hadn't reached its full strength, which is exactly why. Damn it. Accelerated spell. Akko damaged her whole body. Akko stood up and raised her aid caused by the little place on the formula after nicking with the snark. All she could do was endure it. All because that ice is tougher than my best shot. Akko got read on her relative strengths. Even if the fighting magic energy is identical, Shark's form is the mystic was on different leagues. Even if Akko had changed her energy to her absolute limit, she would barely make it dent on the ice wall, meaning that to start gathered as much magical energy as good. There was nothing that she could do to prevent its annihilation. And before that happens, lower her next shot, and Yoshi orders the following the third layer, ignoring the total on her body. She began to accelerate the first layer's formula. Roll the right hand, single layer source of sword. The surrounding magical energy. A thick fog drifted through the park. It was an ancient ether suited out by the five sharks all body, but Akko could pour her into her own formula. Akko's body, which then integrated within the formula, took an amount of magical energy that surpassed the masculine cast ability received in anger, where it trembled in the light. For a mage, magical energy was a point to reach the realm of mystics. There was expansion in material time, no liquefaction of the self, the reset from the physical, one might call a near-death experience. Akko stood face-to-face reality with the battlefield with such concepts. And the reality was there to break her will. To any bystander, the gap between them would be plain to see. The gun barrel named Akko Asaki. She had not a chance to chip away that junk of ice. This bang. She accelerated herself for her. Skull grinned. That ice was no shield. It was something to be used to crush me. Mangasu did not know their place. The moon laughed as if it was prepared to crush not just Akko, but the boy atop the roller coaster, as well as the park in its entirety. Come on, give me more! Circuits were on the verge of going critical, providing been charged with a scorching power supply for her fingertips or eyeball. She would see to it that the bullet fired. The magecraft formula had been strengthened as quickly as her transmission speed would allow. A single attack was not enough. There was no way to shot from this fight. Which meant there's only one solution. Reconnecting to alternate current. Third layer began to transform. Switched from direct to alternate current. The spell's supposed shock point was his ability to just trajectory mid-fight, but now she wanted those numbers. Connecting octagon. All layers. Max rotation. Oh, I see. It's gonna go. Blue sun shining down upon the music park. Beams of light, maximum output, stretched forth to pierce the golden moon. Take this! Holding down her trigger, she continued to fire, taking entry in infinitum. Yeah! The first shot perfect critical water, but the ice would never melt or nor more. No matter how sheer heat could take on a distance. There's something from such a costly matter of magical energy. The Taller circuits have been circed, and the blood began to run away. Spin should be more than enough. Just too strong. Battle became trust over magical energy after the park. From the very beginning, this has been Stark's home turf. Stark can control over at least 80% of the space, while Aqua had 20 at best. No, I can't stop it. No. The Castle of Ice is ascended as they call the match. All she could do was really nimble. She knew that she had been back to the wall right now. And the only thing she could do is keep firing. Then again, perhaps not. There was another option. She converted all her magical energy into defense. There was a tiny dash, no, tiny great possibility that she could stay for just her. Shut up and do it already. Not even nice. As a chance against all the magical energy here. Putting into that broken up, Aqua continued to rotate her circuits. It seems this time seems to stop at the magical energy overdose. A second of an insane lasted for eternity. Then, amidst everything, huh? Something approached, one step at a time. Something among the park shadows. Something. Wait. She felt goosebumps from head to toe. This was no longer the ice overhead. In this stillness, a red death grew closer step by ominous step. Why here? Why now? Her circles of mind began to rupture out of terror. The composition of her formula slowly began to fill up the bar. There was just behind her, footsteps came to a halt. Reaching around and covered her face was its blood-stained hands. Greetings. She wanted to scream out of all her might. This was it. Nothing matters. I could care less. Run or don't run, it doesn't matter. Quit hiding and reveal yourself. Use whatever you can and show no mercy. It was it. She had one final card to play. A miracle that would treat that ice like nothing more than a toy gifted to her by a mere amusement. That was the Red Death. What the Red Death has come to kill. Using it would spell ruin, and not using it would mean death by ice. But why would Akino hesitate? There were no conditions limited there. There would be no price to pay by playing here. She simply would cease to be herself. That was all. Humans love to exist in areas of gray. This is an electrical impulse disconnected in the brain every minute. Nothing lasts forever, not even oneself. It was not that ending particularly worthy of the strain. It was not even anything remarkably worthy to be called a taboo. Shut up. But escape her whistles now was rage, beyond it from the rest itself. Roll out an audible scream. Could true magic truly be your savior? What optimistic blow to bowl? After all, to begin with. I have no clue how to do that shit yet! Indeed, Akino was still in the dark when it came to that magic, whatever it was. In such a moron, she woke from her momentary hallucination. The very illusion breaking her soul has shown her. Wine had the opposite effect on her. Her pride was now ablaze.
逃げ
You
るのか
escaped too. Sasha was right. Her plan had put her in check, but she had done the same. Actually, done the same to it. It was clear that why she was losing, and now she needed was a counter plan. Well, within her ability, somewhere or not, she was not going to give up without at least one shot. That's right. Giving up only comes after you tried absolutely everything. Her humbling fingers quit into her tight fist. She was fighting against the house, an unreachable grumble that should have made her question her sanity. Her first step was off by an inch, but her body would instantly vaporize. But she knew that a boy who never fled knew of the steadfast courage that would shine light no matter how snarl or any desperate situation. Yes, there was no more than just herself to concern about. If that ice fell, then it would mean the destruction of the entire park and society. Everything that he had achieved, everything that he had risked and endured, after he put his life on for it, would all be for naught. Really. What possessed him to be so bullheaded? 2. Every day she accomplished search for her like electricity. She was no mood to be crushed by a giant sheet of ice. She was gonna lose. She would rather do so with a greatest firework possible. Akko was a sore loser. At this point, she would rather burn herself to cinders than let it decide her and just change, disconnect, expand, area, reconnect. She cried in pain. Energy raced through her body. The circuits were on the verge of disintegration. Described provided by a magical grasp as a manuscript given fitness of form. Not, however, stopped with the simply skin and flesh. It brawled to the very marrow of her bones. Good. The painful smile across her lips. Her sense of reach had been turned upside down by the pain. It was only natural. Okay, I can do this. She had praised her own body for holding out so long while pushed it beyond its limits. Skullface noticed the abnormality. It finally recognized the change in dominance over his space. It laughed at the conceited face. Never did it expect a magician to challenge the great flat snark, lord of the vessels over among us in such an age of decline. Tried to catch her breath, and she braced herself for the obligated pain. She was going to smash the ice to pieces. Both had access to the same amount of magical energy. One of them was greatly unmatched, but there's a difference in their output. If I'm losing because of the scale of energy absorption and the size of the barrel, then instead of this level, all I need to do is make it for bigger and me with it. Change sewer plan, reconnect bullet configuration. Feedback would take beyond energy she experienced today. Quite simply, your decision went beyond reckless. She expanded both the formula into maximum size. The first wave would transfer a giant vortex, swallowing up all the mist. The second wave would process it from one end and pump it into the barrel. Because they thinking I could do something to accuse it. I shoot it down. I need to blast it to hell. The pre-radio magical energy responded to the constant of her conviction, forming the power of bringing the servant. The voiceless magical power flying to bear her resolution. She beckoned to the great power fast upon the land, for it was the first of the trailblazers. Representing the mankind she knew. No fear, it would rendered all matter and mystics to naught. The borrowing from you. 9. Boojum. You really want it? I'm more happy to give it all back. For the newest magician commanded the principles of consumption and extinct. Yeah, brilliant light melted through the castle of ice. Her barrel was tempered. Her control of magic energy was divine. Her face, totaling 62,000 miles in length, or 2.5 times the exorbitant Sinclair accepted the flow of magic energy. However, the subhuman magical ball simply flew straight into the moon. No, no, no! Duff rose to the surface of the moon. A cry of terror. Indignation roared through the abandoned park. Reality was burned into the eyes of the creature of fantasy. As Akko woke up on a faint struggle, she knew she had to taste of victory. Victory despite her absolute recklessness to use magic energy. Then she yes, have been tipped back in to their break point, but nevertheless in her favor. To her plan. Bullets configuration. Black Knight. Total Eclipse converge. Terror and a new one. God damn. Shower. Skyscraper shattered into a god the island, inevitably extraordinary to swallow all the whole and despair of his many challenges. And that would remain of this once proud things boasted of his untouched knowledge. Goodbye. Sure missed. Below this demise. The ice canopy of the sky crumbled. The snark hunting bullet jumped over to the moon, and its froze of dust sounded like a roaring sea, reverberating across the fairy tale land. The battle was over. The thick wall of this person shattered ice melted away before it hit the ground. A lethal bullet had toppled the Night King along with his throne, affording him no time to grieve his loss. Oil of the moon, the untouched vast dark. Dreamscape that had begun with his resurrection and with his demise, drawing close to his nightmare. Yeah. Oh man, I guess it kind of went overboard. Flat on her back, Akko looked up in the night sky. She waited perfectly still, not able to move a finger. She was tired, her whole body screaming in agony. She was completely empty of magical energy, and her magic crest had become to a halt. She estimated it would likely require a whole day to recover all her body functions. Sadly, all she could do was a moment's take a breath. At least her chest was swelling with pride. She had gone toe to toe with a fairy tale monster and emerged victorious. Battlefield conditions that favored her was true, but there was no denying that Akko had become a long way in the last 6 months. Luck or not, I know how it's an apology. Once the apology is broken, it's gone forever. My Stark would never again return to this world. It was an insanely rare item, so valuable that it would have been impossible to price it for auction at the Association in London. Akko sent Alice's priceless treasure of matescrap to the world of oblivion. Needless to say, things have gone to more than a little out of hand. Still, they have both agreed to fight, so Alice probably would have not complained. Even if she was furious, she would never be so indignified to show it. Second, Akko relaxed her fatigue while I got up her. She did everything in her power to fight off the overrun Dawsons. Aside from the minor injuries, her body was miraculously unscathed so much that she felt that she could probably stand up, dust herself off and rest. The golden moon continued to burn in the night sky. We are oil. You could probably burn for. Akko's green eyes wide in astonishment. He was still unable to lift a finger. Alright.
最後は一緒に消えるんだっ
The
け。
baker who found the snark disappeared along with it. He sighed as a resignation. Conception that her final sand left her with only 10 seconds before she burnt to ash you. Elsewhere, just a short minute prior, right by strong once the top of the coaster Sotro gradually appeared down the ground.
むむ
Okay, Buster was a single mirror. All I could see is Akka on top of something drawing the ground end.
な
What
ん
in
だ
the
あれ
world was that mean made of? Distance. There was something familiar in the direction of ruined house of mirrors. Show's job was to draw accurate. Here at a great height was complete. While not impressed by the task, he was absolutely married to life or death. And to top it off, he was thinking about how he was going to get back down to the ground was making him busy. He experienced more than trouble for one day.
いや
Yes, but wait.
でも
It was flustered as he stood atop the same ridge. So suddenly it appeared outside above. The ground I could see was grilled. You could see a circle of blue light with Akko and Saki in the middle of it. And one more thing. Shao was approaching Akko that only someone from this vantage point could see. And Shao, this thing in the lower half of his body. Oh my god, this thing's still alive. The upper half of his body was slowly clawing his way to Akko. Still over 600 feet apart. Unfortunately, Akko, she completely failed to notice it approaching from behind.
遠くて見えないけどあれは
It's part of the way to make it out, but isn't that... It was sure that's what it was now. There's only one thing that in the park that could chase Akko. And not him, the puppet.
いや
But, I mean, maybe it's a
あ
coincidence,
るい
right?
は
Its mind ran in circles. It was perfectly reasonable for her action. Any grip on reality he might have had to let him had left was long lost when Akko was started firing pieces of light at the monstrous spoon. Whoa! Akko's merciless fire buffeted the roller coaster surface. Just staying on it was not enough to be thrown off and killed. Anyway, Social gonna get bad in this situation. Should he head back to the entrance of the coaster and then warn Akko about the cart? No. Some way he would make it in time. And to make matters worse, there's just a horde of bread down their way to get them. May as well have been chased. The chase that Akko was already aware of. And the pups would make it as soon as he got closer. She was there. Sure, they would only be in the way. But it not seemed that there was anything he could do to help. And beyond that, Akko was not the only one in danger. He was all quite ridiculous stuff. You can't go home again. The road to home was never as safe as one thought. It's true here, it had been in the mountains. The path he was on was no exception, as risky as the ascent had been. It was even more dangerous than to go back down. There was no time to be worrying about the others. The shaken red reminded him that only 200 feet separated him from his left. I'll be fine. And just said that. His head was fine. His reckless and stupid. He began to race his mountains and more system than ever than any way to race the city. And just to think about what he was about to do made him seize up. There's only one thing he can say for sure. Okay, so that thing's coming for her. With sobbing shout, Sotro started making his way down the 200 foot flame of the roller coaster. He raced towards the death accelerated. He never meant to speed up, but the downward slope of it propelled him forward. Here we go. It was too late for Rex now. Was running. He had no choice but to go faster. And time was not on his side. He would not have made it in time if he hadn't taken it a long way down. Never mind the breadman and the grind exited the roller coaster. When he got to the spot, the outcome would be the same whether he was slowly or quickly. There's no reason to rush to this death apparently as he did. So what? So what if it was futile? Social cleared the doubts from his mind, and he turned his attention to what he could do. Keep the footing, and try to arrive at the bottom as quickly as he could. Focus, focus. You'll be a narrow time saver. The most important thing is, and no idea what impulse is driving his step was. He just focused in a moment and pushed past the fear and called the logic. And at his core, he was the kind of person who deal with the problems head on. There would be no time to think about the constant layers later. But hesitation was only an obstacle, not now. First part of his dangerous was the time was not focused on the track with me certain death. Sandro said something was wrong with the egg. Miss Lowe's said we were serving out in the eye. Something had changed. And at the very moment he realized it. I can't be looking at the right side right now. Someone is secretly kind of soft. It's miraculously not fun. Clearing a roller coaster on foot was an act of suicide. They stayed behind side, so of course it would collide with him. No, he was still trying to start. He could not. No. Okay. He could not help but feel unease, knowing that the door, like the decoration center, was gradually opening. Never mind now. He cursed his riot situation. Yet he was fierce to slow down. He even ran fast and glaring at the egg to the side. What the hell's going on? Why is that? Does it have to be this first time? Sojiro was baffled at that he was find that he was smiling. It was perhaps something to do with Akuno's charm. Sojiro could not tell one another. But still feel Akuno's finger on his skin. The trust and expectation he had placed on him was actually his heart, but he was spurred and was on something entirely different. All sentiment from a muscle from much deeper problem. It was something that inside him that could not understand at the time, but he would eventually come to terms with one day. Alright, that's the 5 feet left. He carefully dodged it just between him and ran down the track of death, but a distance between what? That's what, without saying, was the distance between himself and the one thing he could save his life. He told himself he was going to do it over and over like a man. So true, could not believe himself. What he was about to do is incredibly stupid. But what's stupid is when smart is not the option. I'm really gonna do this. I'm really insane. This is really insane. But still, he left. And how probably was the self-reflection was out. Temporarily confused. He a psychological provide. Both had his latest soul bare. What really mattered was the simple man to get by without defy. The social experiment mind did not crave such a reward. For him, it was simple. Yes. This is it. He was doing it because he wanted to, not because he called obligations to those around him. Desire to live his way around on his own. Here we go. The egg had been equipped with a. The egg had been equipped with a focal function. It would have gasped at the shock of what happened next. The boy who had tried to escape up to this point, someone shifted his weight, and he put his foot outwards and inward on the edge of the rail. He crouched over so slightly remained above us, gazed up the floating egg, and close enough I can do this. He's jumping on the egg. Oh my god. Sorry for this last guy. You know, this fight was lasted more than 1.5 seconds. And of course, punched jump from 100 feet of ground. In destination, the only thing that would stop us while a giant floating egg. Yeah. He screeched this time out of reaction, which was going to the egg's surface just earlier. Cold blood, which had told him that without fear, atop of the building would feel no different from a balancing. For the same which that had been left speechless, and she said, made us a spectacle. Fearless was Sunday, reckless was never. He followed it up to act would her take for days to come. I remind you, egg. When she egg, she sifted his gaze from it, and he felt the rapid descent. Such a focus outside of the ground. Off the egg, once they were a few feet from the ground, and then turns back to it, carefully establishing on the guy. Something unbelievable. Thoughts of social. The upper department store and the mysterious floating egg were just above moving objects, virtually indistinguishable from one another. Right. It did break.
食べ物を粗
Alright.
末にするのは良くない。
Always a shame when food goes to waste. He went near the plaza. The shortcut was almost cost him his life paid off. So he took off right a second if he touched ground. Puppet Aparaco was the only thing on his mind. But he never touched the moonlight sky. Or the egg that was furious about being used and seconds away from self-destructing and blasting the fragments all over the place. That's okay. Yeah. Ako's satisfaction expression spurred such on. Cursa was complete. The empty egg began swinging, exploring to let them know there was no escape. Shot from the egg exploded through the air. Oh, to the Queen Alice. The Alice had engraved and Duffy's quickly robbed of his senses. Okay, was that it? Stepped back to his ass and ran to Akko, still lying on the ground. His legs ran on their own card. No, he could not have ever stopped them anyway, since he could no longer feel them.
お前、驚くほどしつこいぞ。
Don't your puppets ever give up? Well, that takes care of the puppet. This scrambled murder case. Most of rubble flowers become blooming to the earth. The final curtain drew close. The defeated battleground. Had Alice Kenochi seen up close, could be left aside herself. The two has escaped breath. Oh wait, I think this was actually in the preview page for like the game for like GameStop. The only person in the position with this rare mutual destruction was the girl who had been saved from it. The boy had never stopped running, paid no mind. Phew, I thought you were a goner. Safely, of the girl was in his arms, but infinitely more to him than the miraculous way in which he saved her. In a moment, Moon did not wait for dawn to set. The ornamental texture of the fairy kingdom faded away. All the illusions returned to the way they were before. The iris chords reverberated for the streets. The puppets welcoming the guests. Peace and quiet reignited once more. Over a forgotten kingdom, never to be awakened again. Now the flickering embers of night dream, even electrical lamps that illuminate a park. Together they watched it disappear, Sojiro. Then the ground, desperately gasping the air like fish out of water. Curse of the exploding egg, and nibbled his pain. And he was undeniably exhausted from the all experience. He looked like he could be blown away into the dizzy nights of breezes, while Akko was so exhausted. She was still in better shape. Focused on taking deep, even breaths, she was already working to recover her strength. So, she addressed Sojiro indifferently and gazed up on the amusement park. The purpose of it was practical in nature. She wanted to look at him like she spoke, but her pride simply was too big. You did something kind of amazing, didn't you? The moment she accepted death seemed like an eternity. She was beside herself in shock at how indifferent she had been. No shards that rained down from the moon. But, stirring her voice snapped back into reality. Why did he do it? What was he thinking? And what moronic things he did he have to pull it off? She had no answers to the questions, just lying on the ground as as she was. All she knew that she had more than enough made up for his failure. The House of Mirrors, and then some. In those fateful final moments, she asked him hoping to find answers, but found herself unable for any further. To dig deeper would mean like defeat, which is why it was so unlike her to ask him for in the first place. Like for her, Sotra had never the capacity nor the sensibility to understand how egocentric she was being. Amazing. You were re-mentioning Aozaki. He stuffed shut between the labor rests. It was taking him so much effort just to breathe, and I could not address her properly. She watched out from the corner of her eye. Thinking back on it, the boy had performed the same role each time. Each and every time, he did what he could in spite of the freckleness. It was as far as more admirable than for her to nearly suicide attacks, even if she did defeat her opponent. He did not even recognize how extraordinary his last act of courage was. Here's the idea. If I help you kill that thing, you'll let me go. At the very least, he had the courage to keep trying whenever he could. The spectral knight viewed him as a supporting actor. His actions were not actually memorable, but the lead actress he was supposed to support did not see it that way. Well, I don't really want to admit it myself, but I must say it out loud, but such inspired actions were wasted in a supporting role. This guy really pulled off the impossible. It was also amazed that she wanted to shout it as loud as he possibly could for all the world to hear. Saki. God, he's so instant it makes me want to barf. All I could do was sigh. How could she not? Even if she was focused on admit that the way he's been snatched from her, the jaws of death was stashing. It must be getting soft. Truth be told, it was a lunatic for doing what he did. She started the breathing and composed herself. She was in bad shape. She had her pride and his amazing concern, which is why she needed to maintain an air of dignity when making a proclamation. Suzuki. Suzuki, I originally meant to let you off the hook for a day only, but I'm willing to let the whole thing go. For the time being, I'm decided to let you live. She hastily extended her right hand. It was either to shake his hand or help him get up, however. Sojourn did not take her hand, but stood still on his own. This night, despite the sheer insanity he had just experienced, his face and not once looked incredible as it did now. What? Is something wrong? She suddenly woke, where she had deeply embarrassed herself. Sojourn's gaze was fixed on Oko. The problem had dawned on Oko, although she normally hated being stared at this time. Never mind. Right, she was enjoying the warmth of his eyes. It felt like something she can almost come to appreciate. Don't you get it? Yeah, this isn't just about friendship, and I don't mean that he only likes you either. I'm waiting for him to say, that Soju got Soju G really. No. Conversation come rushing back. It was a memory bearer left again. No, not happening. Pushing to the top was out of her mind. Akko turned to Sojuro. Don't get any ideas. I don't care about you in the least. But so Sojuro lifted his head. You already told me how much you dislike me. Despite a matter of fact, factory to their sudden declaration. Huh? Secret. She certainly had pointed to that, and to his face no less. But now was not the time to bear the point.
あなたが私に惚れてても期待しないでって言ってるの。
I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying you shouldn't get your hopes up, no matter how far you fall for me. Yep. Later, she did say it anyway. Hako blushed slightly, realized how sane she was being. She wondered if how she ended up in this position, and yet she knew that she had to get this off her chest. All that was left her was to politely wait for his response. I can't date you. Such heartbreaking, painful words were too much for a simple boy to hear. His shoulders slumped a bit, as if the world was to come to an end, or so Akko thought. On the contrary, Sotra was sitting there deep in thought. Did you say I'm in love with you? Sotra muttered the words as if they were a magic spell. So she shot right back with the affirmative. After a moment of combination, the boy turned to an expanded girl and said, I didn't take that! He had to be joking, but it was not. So awkward. But yet, like, someone is a dumb moderation here, but he was completely serious. So you like her, but you didn't like her. Oh, of course. Vice President has jumping says the boy had no interest in romance. Probably didn't even know what it was. So. She was incredibly embarrassed by how confused she was. Still appeared to be. Her rosary expression spread throughout her entire body. I asked him, why do you think that? That's what I want to know! You freaking moron! Freaking just like that. She lost her cool and given an unjustifiable outburst. Animations even has the ability to like punch him under the seat. It's time to seal off the area, destroy all evidence. Akko's appearance involved a severe panic air grudge against temporary summoning manifested in critical assault. She lashed out and punched that could have taken out a bird mid-fight. More specifically, it was a brutal right hook. Oh. Akko blinked her bow connected. Something solid snapping around her ring. Her temper lashed out. Completely a different social infant. Supported blow with all her weight behind, knocking him out cold. Social groaned, popping on the ground. Her brush finished the job that the curse had started. Not for her discomfort, her face appeared to be almost sleeping, and Akko convinced herself that it was napping. I was not convinced. Well, whatever. I'm going to end up like. It's always going to end this way. The tension on her shoulders erased away as she looked down at Sojo. A ton of gotten in her way over the course of the day, but the day was savored out. With nobody left but hands, feeling exhausted and finally took over. Oh my god, can we go walk home like this? Her fatigue was enough to make her complain out loud. When she thought about it, she realized that it was the first time she had used up all her magical energy. First time she participated without the skill without any prior preparation. No truth? Live in a mutual suction if I've been alone. She felt somewhat proud as she whispered those words. Remember, she was something that would beat herself up over. But instead, she simply shrugged over her shoulders with a simple bitter smile. After all, it was all it takes to a person sleeping by her side. Hey, you can hear me, can you? If tonight is lowered her voice before I reached him, she was nearly confident. She continued to even quieter voice. So thank you, you really got me on down there. Of course, there was no response from her. No, she was not expecting one saying that records right that night. Akko watched her sleep around and then pulled something out of her pocket. It was a palm-sized glass bottle her roommate gave her, which she opened the pop, but none of this matters. Even behind the words, colder than a winter chill night, she called out his name. Francis smiled moving. Instead of the fall body appeared where she got the feeling that the weight of the bottle had increased slightly. It's kind of weird. What appeared to be a human form could be very sad in the glass. Alice controls to tools for Magisa could find even most unknowable of the mages. As soon as Akko tried to handle him with logic of reason, she was already out of death. Knowing this all too well, Akko goes about and watches the boy disappear as some kind of magic trick. Yes, this is not a straight trick, it's actually magic. Remember that she looked down to the magic the weight had not changed significantly and she had no idea how it worked, but one thing she did know was that there was a human being inside it. The light weight and it was almost unnerving, closer to empty air than a human being. It was almost as heavy, about as heavy as one would expect from when the ball does summer breeze. Now, that did fit her amateur social perfectly. It's just like I said, she muttered no one in particular to call it the past. This really isn't like me. Aqua wore a bittersweet smile. The moodiness was gone. It was a dangerous out there. It was good to have someone to keep her on her toes. With a worried chuckle, she flickered the magic wire with her finger and set off walking. She could hear the bell in the distance singing in the play. An intrepidal dream that went around a grand scheme of things and all but instance. The actors exit stage left and the lights suddenly flickered out, and the long dead music park played its final roles as a memory of for a boy and girl. Farewell, Chrissy Wren. Okay, like a dog. You may have resumed. Okay, that's interesting. Alright. Okay, guys, I think we can call it here. That was a really long chapter. Stick around, we're gonna find some of the raid. Alright, let's see what's on right now. Boo, Danny, Task. Alright, try to find someone. Alright. Jake? Alright. Okay. Alright, we're gonna go Jake here. Well, we'll just raid Jake. Jake is, does, know a bit of FGL. He's also a bit of a troll. He does, JRPG too, but yeah, Morals. I have a good one. Back tomorrow doing this, I know. Don't know what's up with the boxing thing, but yeah. Have a good one, Morals. This is your Demon Lord Draco Sock signing off, Lair.